Oh, hey everybody, this is Jim. I understand from the script you want us to just jump right in and start showing the software, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. We've been around for about 13 years, and if we've got a bunch of stuff on our website, so I sort of wanted to show you that. If you're later, you want to look at different things. We have a bunch of demos out on the website. We have a blog too, which has got a whole bunch of different categories and stuff like that. And you can search around. There's some short videos and long videos and questions that people sometimes ask. But let's take a look. I'm going to go through. I set up in our demo world, which is Buena Vista. I set up your land division application and site development application, and a little bit of review, not a lot, because it's kind of hard to do 14 department review. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into first. I'm going to go into a customer of ours who has a planning type of an application, and kind of look at the life of a real-world application first, and kind of give you a little bit of a feeling for the look and feel. And we're going to go to Spanish Fork, Utah. Cool. All right. So this is the home page on Citizenserve. I'm logged in as somebody who works in the community development department at Spanish Fork, and the home page is customizable. So we've got a quick find up here. The quick find actually will show you matching file numbers. So let me put in. So I just entered the end of a number, and so it's kind of showing me everything here that matches and the address. So you can, in the quick find, you can toggle around. This is an area where, like, if somebody calls you or you just want to pull something up quickly, you can, and then I can just click on the permit number, and it'll pull that permit up for me. So, or application. And this is a customizable feature. You can decide it based on your job function. You can configure it to be, different things like parcel number and we also, one of the things that you'll see throughout Citizenserve is that we have custom fields that can be put in the applications and the activities like inspections and reviews. Custom fields can also be set up for different file types and for properties or parcel numbers in your system. So those custom fields can be used for searching. So that's what this business activity is here. It's just a custom field that they have on their business license, and you can say, hey, I want to be able to search off of this custom field, and it'll appear up here in Quick Find. It'll also appear over here in Search. If you go search for file, see they've got down here some custom search options, and they can pick from different activities there. So it's just a very powerful feature. The custom fields can also be in the fee schedules. You can easily put those on documents like licenses and permits and stuff like that. So that's something I just wanted to point out. The home page here is organized kind of into tasks, metrics. There's also and this is, John doesn't have inspections on his, which is basically like a calendar events thing, and you can have that on your home page too. So he's got that, his calendar is like not marked here. So you can decide what you want to have on your home page as a user, and then you can also decide what order you want to put these things in. So that's kind of the home page. The metrics, there's a lot of information here in terms of being able to manage your tasks. In the task area, this is where you're going to find things like plan reviews, or here's a notice that there's an online application that's been submitted. And those come in from the portal. And the metrics are completely customizable. They're kind of like reports. You can, drill down on the particular areas where there's a hot link, and then you can also drill down on the different file numbers that come up here. We've got an option here on this one to show it on a calendar too. So There's mapping features built throughout the system, so wherever you see the little pin, the map pin, you can pull up mapping features. And in this case, I'm looking at my task list. So, I've got some options here to kind of show appointments and tasks on a map. And I can pick, inspections, reviews, other activities. Whenever we put pins on the map, you can click on them and see what's behind that. You can also drill down on the activity. Like if I wanted to go right to this plan review, I can. Or I can go right to the permit. And so if I click on plan review here, this is going to pull up a plan review for me. Now this is an example of an activity in Citizenserve, and it's a review activity that shows up here in the Reviews tab. And there's different activities that you can have in the system, and they have quite a few. And each department can have their own activities. So, if engineering has certain inspections they do, or reviews that they do, those can be in the engineering department, don't have to be shared with everybody else. But you can also share review types and activity types and inspection types by just setting the activity up in a higher level department. This particular review activity has, a pretty elaborate checklist here. These are all custom fields, and each activity can have its own form, which can be as complicated as the actual applications in Citizenserve, which we'll kind of go through one here in a second. Activities inspections and review activities can have a custom form, which this has this checklist form. We support a couple dozen, maybe 3 dozen field types, so we'll go through that a little bit. It doesn't have to just be checklists. This one also has like a review comments section, and we'll kind of go through these too, but you can have each department can have different categories and reviews for their activities. These can be activity specific or like review specific, or they could just be generic where you go through and just pick the different categories that you want to select from to pull into your review comments, and then you can edit those, and we'll kind of walk through that too. So the mapping features, we can integrate directly with an Esri web server. Go ahead.
I think the important thing is we talk showing you all these different activities. We don't come like with a certain set of activities and you got to make those fit for you, or a certain number of fields and you got to make those fields work for you. So it's all customizable for you. You can add activities at any time as part of our support agreement. If your business changes, you need a new activity, you need a new list, you can add those things. We can add those things for you. It's all included in your subscription. So I mean,
is it not limited to one you can
of which there's no limit to custom fields, and there's no limit to the number of activities. Like some of the fields only have like 500 characters and stuff like that, but there, like Ben said, we got a couple good dozen different types of fields that you can create custom fields. Right?
Okay. So so the mapping features, we can actually integrate directly with an Esri server, or we can import layers into the system. So there's kind of two things that we can do. They've got, these are the kind of the layers that they have in the system. So whenever you're looking at, the mapping features, you'll be able to pull in the different layers. This can be real time from your GIS server, or we can just import them on a regular basis, and you can see these in the system. So we also show the tabular information behind the objects on the map, so you can pretty much have any kind of information you want in there. We can do satellite view. We use Google Maps. It's very fast and out in the field and stuff like that. You can go into Street View too. So these are things that really, whenever you're looking at a map in Citizenserve, whether it's a map report or a mapping feature within the system, all these features are there for you. So so that's a little bit on the home page and some of the features. The metrics here, when they're set up, we can they'll be part of your implementation, and you can request these anytime you want for in support. But you can easily add these to your home page just by selecting what you want. Like here I've got code completed inspections, and I can say, well, I want them for this month, and I want, all of them. And then I can just click add, and, that'll add that to my metrics. So you can kind of pick from the available metrics that are there, and put those on your home page, so everybody can kind of have their own metrics that they're looking at.
Hey, Jim?
So, sure.
Can I ask a question? Those metrics are reports, yeah?
Yes, they are. I mean, they're just like a report, and you can drill down on them and then drill down on the stuff that's in the information.
So this screen we're looking at, that's the back office where a staff would be looking at it? That isn't the portal for customers on that?
We're looking at the staff side.
Okay, thank you.
We're gonna go. I'm gonna log in as a user here on the portal in a minute. So so down here under my links, right? This is basically where you can pin certain reports to your home page. So here we've got it looks like he's got a inspections to date in here, and I don't think there's any information behind that for the date range. But you can basically have any reports that are set up for you in Citizenserve. You can pin them to your home page, and that's what this My Links area is here. So let's take a quick look. I want to look at an application. So I'm going to go in here to search, and the search features, we've got the quick find, but the search area here, there's a property view, there's a people or contractor business view, which is search contact, and then you can also just search for files. So I've got my search page here, and let's say I wanted to go find, and these are all the application types that they have in the system, and let's say I'm looking for a preliminary plat application, and I can just click on search here, and this is going to pull up all the matches for me, and I'm looking for a particular one here that was kind of close to what you wanted to see in your sample. And now let me just go and look at, I'm going to put the file number in. So one of the nice things about Citizenserve, you can always use the back button. So I hit the back button to kind of go back to where I was, and I'm just going to put the file number in here that I'm looking for.
Everything is browser-based, basically. So there's no software that you have to download or update or run anywhere else if you have a browser.
Yeah, we're browser and device independent. So you can use an iPhone or iPad, and I'm going to pull my iPad up here in a minute, and maybe even my iPhone in a second. But so this is a a planning type of a project here, and we've got two different permit types. We've got a site plan and a final plat, and I'm going to click on the site plan here, and you can see this is the application in Citizenserve. So we've got an applicant here, and we've got a description of what they're doing. They're doing some restaurants and stuff like that, and so the application itself can have different formatting, and I set up this kind of rough, but I did set up a couple of your applications, so we can go and look at those, but I wanted to show you something that's kind of done. And so we can set up links in the system to helpful documents. We can have, these links can also be to external systems, like a GIS system or the state contractors database, those types of things. Documents on your website, documents that are stored internally in Citizenserve. And in this particular application, which is pretty similar to what you guys do on the planning side, we've got our developer, and we're saying, hey, how many acres, and who's the engineer. Whenever you're looking at the people here, you can click on the ... and that'll take you to more information about that person. So we've got or companies. So we've got some information here. This is, we've got, the portal is really an integrated part of Citizenserve, so I can manage here the username and password of the contractor or engineer. I can also take away their portal access if I want. I can click on more information here, and this will take me to this contact or person in the system, and here I can see all the files they're associated with in the system. I can see all the permits they're associated with, all their licenses. So if they have like a contractor's license or something like that, I'll be able to see that. I can see all the documents that are associated with them too. So that's, that's kind of a person view. So you've got, in Citizenserve, we're keeping track of properties and people. There's a property view and there's a person view in addition to, the case management and the permits and all that sort of stuff. So, so let's jump back to our permit here. So I've still got my contact information here in this other tab. I'm going to go back to my permit. So what we've done here is, we've kind of specified the project, and then these are submittal documents. These can be anywhere in the application. You can have a request for, hey, upload this or do this, and the buttons are, you can say I only want a PDF, or you can upload PDFs and JPEGs and stuff. We can also say you can upload one or more files. So that's another option. And you can see here that under PDF files here, they've uploaded quite a bit of information. So while I'm looking at these, I can actually I can click on these documents and pull them up. So they're in the system and available as they were submitted in the application. These all also appear in the Documents tab. So we want to know what was submitted with the application, and then later they might upload additional documents. So that's kind of a little bit on a pretty simple application where we're going to upload a bunch of documents, and we've got some other stuff down here. These are all custom fields too. This text here that's sort of explaining things. There's a checklist here. This is a link to a checklist that kind of explains more about what they're looking for, right? So we can set up those types of links and text to help people out. The little red bar over here means that this is a required field. So that's those are the required fields. If they try to submit the application without that being filled out, it'll give them an error. We've also got, they've got this is a spreadsheet, this electrical load spreadsheet that's kind of embedded in the application. It's like, hey, you got to fill this out and upload it. So this is kind of a real-world example. We've got some fee calculations down here, and so that's the permit tab. And this project has two different permits in it. You can have, if you want to, you can have your site development and land division and all the building permits all under the same project. And so here's the Reviews tab, and this is kind of an important thing to look at. I kind of wanted to show you the real-world example because in planning and site development stuff, the reviews are usually quite extensive, and there's a long process associated with the review. So here's my reviews, and I can look through these based on, okay, I only want to see, I've got 2 permits here, so I can go, I only want to see the final plat, and so here's this one, and I can switch over and say I want to see this one here, and this one had a resubmittal. So so that's something that's important to note, that we can, you can have more than one review. Somebody starts submitting it and then somebody says, hey, this is going to have to be resubmitted. And when we look at the portal, when the status changes on the application, in the portal configuration, you can say, if resubmissions required, or this particular status is in place, then they can edit the application. Otherwise, we might not let them edit the application. So we can control when they can go in and change the application on the portal. So just to kind of go through this a little bit, maybe I'll zoom in a little bit here to kind of show you, this is probably typical. We've got an initial review of the plan, and then we go to, site plan review to different departments. and different people, and you know, they can go in and do the review. I can click on the review here and see what the comments are. This particular activity doesn't have it's engineering department site plan review. It doesn't have a form like the checklist we were looking at. It's just got the review comments book here. So I can go into the different activities here in engineering, and I can see you know, kind of what they have in their comments book. So let's go back to the reviews here, and so this goes through the reviews, and then we also have the capability to, you know, have events, kind of calendar events. Like this is a development review committee, so you can schedule your, and I think we've got one down here that shows, no, we don't. But we can actually, you know, go through the, you know, a review committee, and then, you know, if you've got scheduling this for a council meeting or something like that, that can be an activity in Citizenserve so that you can, you know, put together your agenda and your minutes for the meeting. So in Citizenserve. So that's something we can go through the review process, but we can also, you know, have the different committee meetings and those types of things. I don't know if they have anything in here other than just some notes. So they sort of, you know, here's somebody moved to approve the shopping center, and they have some notes in here. So that's the review process. These are the review routes can be automatic. They can also be manual. So, you know, if something needs a special review in addition to the regular review, you can do that. And they can be added just by going over here and saying add route. You know, so that's pretty straightforward. The inspections here, there's usually not inspections in these types of applications. So we'll kind of skip over that. Activities here, this is showing everything that's happened. This application was applied for online with the portal. They paid online. And one of the things about the application or the portal is that when things happen on the portal, there's a notification matrix that we can, you know, if somebody uploads a document, if somebody makes a payment, somebody applies, puts in a new application, we can notify different departments, different people about the activity on the portal, and that's important. You don't want to have to keep going back to the file to see if the document's there that you requested somebody upload. So so that's sort of so we've got some, that's what's in the activities here, is we've got, you know, some uploaded documents and some applications online and stuff. The Documents tab is going to contain everything that was in the submittal documents with the application. It's going to contain all the emails that are sent out, letters that are generated, pretty much everything. You can search here and say, hey, I'm only interested in this is from the application, the PDF files on the plat. You can say I only want to see emails that were sent out if you want to. So those are different things. You can go in here too. You can just, you know, determine which permit you want to look at and see that. So, and these all these documents are they're in the system. So I see if I can find a template here that looks interesting. You know, here's like a review comments. So this is an email that was sent out with some. It's a template email that was sent out, and somebody should probably check this off the book, and you know, that's the review comment that was sent out. So that's this is a template, and all the reviewer really needed to do was just click on this particular standard response and then send the template out. So we'll do a little bit of that later. So that's the Documents tab, and under Contacts, this is everybody that's involved in the project, and you can kind of see the different parties here, and you can send emails out directly from the system. There's a lot of different templates that we can set up. They're very easy to set up. There's an HTML editor built into the system that's device and browser independent. Making changes to the templates is easy. They can be email templates. They can also be letter templates. And they can also be department specific, so that, you know, engineering department can have their own template emails, and they're not commingled in with everybody else's. So so each department can have their own specific setup in the system. When we're sending emails, we can add attachments. We can preview the emails before we send them out. If we hit preview, it will also let us edit it if we wanted to edit the document. So, and history contains basically everything that's ever happened with this file. And so there's this particular project is quite lengthy, and you can see there's every time anything's happened on this particular file, it's been recorded. With the custom fields, you can also track changes to the custom fields. So if you have an important, say on a, you know, on a building permit, the square footage, you can actually track changes in that square footage. Maybe you're calculating your fees based on that, and you want to know if somebody's changed it, or if somebody's changed the valuation of a project, you know, and that determines the fees. You can determine who changed it, when they changed it, what they changed it from, what they changed it to, that sort of stuff. So that's kind of a little bit on a planning type of a project. Let's take a quick look at how this looks on the portal. And I'm going to actually go to, let me get out of here. And we'll go over here to Spanish Fork. Now what I'm going to show you is actually we have a new version of the portal, and they're still set up using the old one. We only have one set of code with Citizenserve, so there's only one version of Citizenserve. What I'm showing you right now, I'm actually on the live system, the production system. When we do something new, like we came out with a new portal, the main reason we did it is, you know, we wanted to make it more configurable, and it has a HTML responsive design, so that it works very well on tablets and smartphones. But it's just an option that we changed. So let's take a look at that really quick, just so that. So if I go over to their configuration at Spanish Fork, I can take a look at the configuration of the portal. And that's just in the admin area here, and we can see the different departments here, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But if I go to the portal, you know, I can pick standard, which is the old portal, or I can switch it to live if I want to, which is the new one. Or I could just turn it off and say under construction, or just disable the portal here. So that's sort of, you know, how we sort of manage the change over time. As we add new features, you can sort of stay there, because there's some configuration, some thinking that has to be done in setting up the new portal. And sometimes customers, you know, they're okay waiting if it's not a priority to them. So so let's go ahead and go back to Spanish Fork here.
One of the things that we've done, I mean, we're sort of like Amazon. Everyone wants to change version of the software, or we roll off the changes, and we don't have to, you know, do those, or wait for some time. And we don't have like a new release that if you want this feature, you got to pay for this, or you want the new portal, then you got to upgrade to that and pay another cost for that. Everything is just sort of managed and rolled in and updated for you. And some instances, like on the portal, where you go, this is kind of customer facing, we don't want to make that change right now. We want to wait and do that. That's fine. That's why they have some of those options better.
And it really has to do with just there's some HTML and some decisions that have to be made there. So that's sort of a how that works. So this is the Spanish Fork page, you know, kind of, and these are all the applications they have. So they have quite a bit in terms of planning and building permits. They also do their business licensing with us. And then one of the things about the portal is that we can put reports out there. I'll show you some other reports. The only thing that they have really is the business licenses. You can have kind of criteria that people do their queries on, and they can export to Excel. Any report that we do for you, you can put on the portal. It's just an option with all the reports. So if you want to put information out there for your citizens, you can do that, and it can be map reports. It can be like a tabular report like this one. We do pie charts, line charts. We do other stuff too. That's kind of almost like, you know, like we did. I'm trying to remember, one of our customers wanted a fee calculator, you know, for their business licensing, so people could estimate their fees. And you know, we just made that a report. So. So they've got development applications, building permits, and business licensing activated. I can go to my account here. If I don't have an account, I can register. And there's different registration types. You can set up anything. Some people just have contractors. Some people break it out into plumbing contractors, electrical contractors, and stuff like that. So each one can have different required fields. So each one of these different registration types can have different required fields, and you can have custom fields too. So when I selected contractor, we're saying down here, well, we want your license number and your expiration date. We could also say upload a copy of your state license or something like that. So we can set a submittal document here too when they would do their registration, and we can make it required or not required. So I'm going to log in as the person who did that particular application, and Andy S here, and I'm going to click submit. So I've logged in, and these are the development applications that he's involved in, and then there's some building permits down here. So so let's take a look. This was the one we were looking at, SP1611. And so here I can leave a message, I can make a payment, I can upload documents. They've got the search feature turned off. Some of our customers don't like that on, so they have it off. So, but I'll show you a little more on the portal later, and with the search feature on. But so here's the application itself, and then here's the we've got all the checklists and stuff like that. Here's all the documents associated with this particular permit or project. And so I can jump in here, like these are the informal comments we looked at on the staff side. So this is one of the emails that was sent out. So all the emails, your certificate of occupancy, all your information, if you make it public, then it's going to be out here. So this project's got a lot going on. So we've got reviews here, and so this is the review process, and for this particular application, and you can see there's quite a bit in here, and the review comments are made available, so so they can see that. They can see the process of the review, and also they can see the comments. And then there's an inspections tab on building permits, and you can enable or disable these particular things. So that's kind of a little bit on the portal. And if I wanted to do like a new application, I'll just kind of show you that really quick here, even though I'm not going to hit save. So if I wanted to do another, like a development application, I can click on submit an application. I can associate this with a new project or an existing project. So if I want to have a building permit be under my zoning amendment or something, I can do that. And everybody's got 100 Main Street. So this is a little bit different on the new portal, but it helps us pick our address, and we can click submit. And here's my new application. And I can go in, and this is Citizenserve is one integrated application, so you can pick and choose which application fields show up on the portal. But when I pick this, it's going to pull up the application for me. This is a pretty simple application. Let's go building. The building permit's got more stuff on it. Here's building permits. I can click on apply for permit, and I'll go in here and take a look at this. And so I can click on submit, and so I just say it's a residential and single family. So here you can see this is, it's got more application fields on it that need to get filled out. So that's sort of the real world. I wanted to show you one more thing before we leave Spanish Fork here. And let's look at just another person. This is the portal, not the, and this is a developer, and they have a lot of development applications and then some building permits down here. So if I go and take a look at one of their building permits, I can see here I have inspections, so you can kind of see the inspections, and this one's not a good example because they haven't done any inspections yet. Let's go with this one here. So here I can see the inspections that have been done on this project. I can see the review here, and I can see the review comments under the building application. I've got my permit here, and these are inspection reports, and they're usually pretty simple emails in Spanish Fork. And I've got, there we go. So this is what they have for their permit. It's kind of information about the project, and we've got a listing of required inspections and the financial summary. So we've got that information here. So if I go look at this, this is 16208. So I'm going to go look at this on the staff side. Here I can request inspections if I want, and pick the inspection type that I want to do and my desired date and time, and then that'll be forwarded to the person who's doing the inspection scheduling in the city. So I go here and I click on log out, and I'm going to go into the staff side so you can see what that building permit looks like. And we'll put it into 16-0208 here. And so this is my permit. And so this is the permit application for this is a single family. Again, all this is custom. The header information, the line here, the links to helpful documents. These are all what we call custom fields in the system. I've got, helpful links. We can do field level help too. We can make the applications dynamic, so if they answer yes, you're in a floodplain, then we ask 10 more questions if we want. So we can do really elaborate. This is one button for submittal documents, and then they have a kind of like a. If you look at like applications, there's always that section, for staff use only. Like these fields don't show up on the portal, and what they're there for is to help them kind of determine how they're going to do their fees. So here we've got, oh wait, let's use, our valuation rather than the contractor's valuation. And that's something that is calculated up here. So we can use the ICC valuation tables to determine, based on the square footage and construction type and stuff, we can make an estimate of the the valuation of the project based on the region too. Sometimes we got to increase it or decrease it based on the region. Here's like a terms and conditions field here, which is available on the portal. So they attest to that. This is pretty typical for a building. A home. We can do really complicated fees, and the fees can be based on any of the custom fields in the application. We can do surcharges on other fees. We can, we've been doing this so long. We've seen every kind of fee structure, known demand. So, and here's a payment down here. So this is kind of the permit. And so this is. Go ahead.
I got a question about fees real quick. On fees, when we want to change or redo something with regard to fees as time goes on, we would your customer would have availability to a certain level to adjust fees.
Absolutely, yeah.
Once trained and all that time.
Oh, we would do those. I mean, as part of our, we would make those trainings for you if you like too. So
you can just go into admin here and click on lookups. And if I wanted to change the fees for that particular permit type, I can go to my permit types here. And see, now I'm kind of here at the root level. We don't have any permits at the root level. If I go to community development, we got a whole bunch of permits, right? So each department can have their own licenses, their own permits. You can see here I don't have any rights to engineering. I only have rights. The person I'm logged in doesn't have rights to engineering, or they probably don't have rights to fire or police or power. So, but they only have rights to their department. But I can change my lookups here. I've got rights to that, and so I can go in here and I can say I want to see my permit types. And this was a building permit residential, right? And so this is the setup. You can kind of set your expiration, kind of the automated expiration. You can pick a prefix for the permit or application type. You can decide whether you want to have online applications or not. And this button is kind of new because it's with a new portal. You set this here rather than in the portal configuration. So, and here we're saying, hey, can you tie this to an existing file, or does it always have to be new? And you can determine for each permit, whether it's going to needs to be associated with an address or not. And then you could say even it's got to be a valid address. We can allow any address or just no address at all with our licensing and permitting. Here's the subtypes, and for each subtype I can put a submittal document in here that's kind of shows up on the portal with that particular. And here they've been a customer for a long time, so you can see they've got a bunch of fee structures. If they change the fees, you grandfather the old fees and you set up new fees, right? So that's sort of and you can kind of set some order information here. But if I go into their current fee structure here, this is the fee table. So there's no program, there's no like coding or anything like that. I mean, it's a fee table, right? And we've got, we've got your account codes in here, so you can integrate with your financial system. You can do different fee groups. Each one can have its own description. Here's what I'm talking about with the custom fields. I've got, this is on a custom field, so I can click on the ... here, and this is based on valuation, right? This is that field we were looking at where they can pick the valuation, and that's the field. And then here we've got basically all the potential values of all the custom fields that are, these are drop-down list boxes. So if I wanted to say, well, if they pick, institutional daycare, I'm going to charge them an extra $20, right? So that's how cool the fees are in terms of you can set up custom fields on the applications, and then each custom field you can use in the fee table, and that's and then you can use it as a straight multiplier, as a base amount. You can say it's a range. so we do quite a bit in terms of the fees, and you can change the fees yourself, just by going in here and changing them. But our support also will do it for you. If you could just, our support team, you can just send them your new fees and they'll put it in there for you if you want. This one's got 83 different rules, right? And then we've got some of these we select. We're saying, hey, this is a plan check fee type, and that's important. I tend to think of those as application fees. It's like we want that money when you do your when you submit your application, right? Now you can set up the applications on the portal to not, we want the application fees up front, or we can get the money later, or we can get all the money up front. I mean, so it's flexible in terms of how much you want to collect up front. So that's this is kind of the fee world here, and let's take a look at. So we were looking at a building permit, and it's down here. This is the single family. And this one had a pretty simple building permits as opposed to planning applications. They're usually a little bit simpler in the review and more complicated in the inspection. So this is all the inspection stuff going on here. And then the activities a little bit the same. This is it was an online application, and then they paid online. And then our documentation, we've got a bunch of inspection reports, the building permit that we were looking at, and then some plans and stuff down here. So that's and the people involved in the project, and in a history here too. So let's go look at our demo world, and we'll do an application over in.
So Jim kind of showed you a real-life situation. We looked at the user side, the credit side, the customer side. Can you stop your questions or what data where you move into the text area?
Yeah, we can go real time to look up the property data. We can also go real time for all the layers in the maps.
And those other layers, you can pull attribute information from them into the permit itself. Right. So Jim, if there's information that's on a layer, we pull that layer if we're that layer information into the permit.
Yeah, we can do that. So like if something's in a floodplain, or sometimes with zoning, floodplains, historic district, we actually put that into a property, into a custom field on a property too, in addition to having the GIS layer available. So what I did, I'm going to do an online application, and I wanted to make sure that I got notified here. And so this is the user notifications and assignments for the development applications on the portal. And so I kind of, I just remembered I did not set this, and so I want to set it so that our engineering department person gets the site development application, right? So you can, these are the only two development applications I set up, and they're kind of rough, but I wanted to show you how that kind of works. But so if there's a new application on the portal, you can determine by application type, well, who do we tell, right? And we have dynamic users too. We've got an unassigned activity queue, and we also have somebody called the responsible user, which is the person who's responsible for that file. Now, we can get notifications if something's been modified, and if someone makes a payment, you can notify somebody. If there's an inspection request on each application type, you can do that. If somebody leaves a message, and of course uploading documents. A lot of times we'll set the upload documents to responsible user so that the person working on that file is responsible for the file knows that something's happened in terms of new documents. So that's, and we've got this, this is creates activities, right, that show up in your task list. We can also send an email, and this is something that we recently added to the portal. So let's go ahead and save that. So this is the portal configuration area here, and you can kind of see that we can kind of set an alias for the portal. There's some general options. You can change the departments in here if you want, which are sometimes what we call things, you know, like code enforcement. A lot of times back east, that's building. That's the building department, not property maintenance. So in each one of these, you can edit the pages. There's a built-in HTML editor. We use the same editor that is used for WordPress. And so if you want to change, like the home page, you can click on it, and here's, you know, you can change any of the images, the links, you know, basically, you know, and you can, if you want to dig in and go full HTML and use that, you can do that too. So, so that's sort of as we're, you know, kind of looking at the portal, know that it's all on the fly, dynamic configuration, right? So, you know, if I click on this home page, I jump in here and make this change, I click on save, and it's going to, you know, make that change for me. I'm not writing code to make the changes. So here's my development project services here. So this is the development page. So so each department can kind of configure their own little sections here. We've got, you know, permitting, licensing. With inspection scheduling, you can select which days you're going to accept, and you can also set a maximum number of inspections if you want. Some of our customers do AM, PM. Some of them want a specific time. We've got a IVR and SMS system too, text messaging. It's kind of cool. You just
your system that integrates. It's your system that integrates with the inspection module.
Yes, it's just one integrated thing that you can text. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I'm going to mess up the world here, but let me show you really quick what. So we got it's there. You know, there's a touch tone portion of it, and it's kind of like a Siri-based sort of a thing. I'm gonna. I hope I don't cause a problem here, but I'm gonna pull up my iPhone and. This is new technology, so so here's my iPhone, and I'm just gonna send you guys can see this okay?
Yeah.
All right. So the way that the IVR works is I can send my email. So we started out with sort of like a Siri-based thing, which didn't really work great. A lot of the contractors have accents and they work in noisy environments. So we switched over to, for the phone, it's all touch tone, so that so they can just press buttons and they don't have to try to talk to the computer. So, but in order to do that right, you have to have codes, right, for your inspection types. And so basically what we set up is you can text your email address to, and so it sent me the IVR instructions, and so we've got our handy email here. This is all customizable. It's just a, hey, this is how the system works, and you can use text messaging if you want, and here's the codes that they're using for their inspection list, right? And actually the text thing I think is will end up being really popular. So what happens is here is it all put in part of, I need that email there. Let me just pull that over here and we'll pull this over here. Oops, no, we're doing it wrong. All right, so I'm gonna do this right here. So I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna send, here's my permit, and so you can just text your permit number and then, the inspection code that you want. This is just going to kick back and tell me it's not valid, but and my date and then a time. And this actually maintains kind of like a conversation with you. So you can kind of see when it gets back to me, it's going to say your permit number is invalid right there. So that's so it's sort of, it knows that there's a dialogue going on here. And so it sort of can, say, hey, fix your permit number. That's not a valid inspection code. You can't schedule this on Fridays because we don't do inspections on Fridays. That sort of stuff. So it's sort of a, it's pretty cool. And then the touch tone one's just a standard touch tone thing, right? I go.
You're having a text conversation with your system, not aided.
Correct. So do you have this deployed anywhere?
Yes, yeah, we're using it in this particular version, which is the new version. It's the only one we have. But Chino Valley, Arizona is using it. Compton, the city of Compton, California, just signed up to use it, and I think another one of our customers in Titusville is going to use it too. So.
Do you have any stats on how many inspections a day they're getting through the text messaging?
I don't think that the text messaging is something we added because we thought it was cool. Most of their contractors are using the touch tone. But really the best way to do it is on the portal. I mean, that's most of our customers, once they got the portal live, I mean, who wants to talk to an IVR system? But the IVR system's available. It's included in the system. We can do other things with the IVR system, like if you want to, we talked to Compton about this because they do film permits and block parties and stuff like that, and they wanted to be able to send out text messages or voicemail blasts to citizens to say, hey, they're shooting a movie in this area, where you live, tonight. So just so that so people know what's going on. So, but this is we use the company that we use. It's a cloud-based IVR. It's called it's the largest company that does this. It's called Aspect, and it's a voice XML and call XML application. So we're writing something when we do these applications. We're writing something that looks a little bit like XML or HTML. So it's very flexible technology, and it's also very scalable. I mean, if we had to call 100,000 people in like 5 minutes, we could do it. So.
If you don't live on campus, and they're doing on campus.
So that's a little bit on the IVR side of things. Let me jump out of AirPlay here, and so back to the portal. This is and we've got the report options. This is kind of reports available on the portal. This is something that where you would kind of put the reports that you want to put out on the portal. It's very, I guess my point is, it's very configurable. It's all on-the-fly configuration, and let's jump over to the portal and let's do an application. So I wanted to go in there. Just go ahead.
Here's the portal, plus having the HTML. Right? You can change, the look and the feel easily. It's very powerful having the map.
So we're going to go to the portal now for Buena Vista. This is it's live Citizenserve, the same thing everybody's using right now. It's just a installation that's set up for demos and stuff. So this is the new portal, and one of the main things we did with the new portal is we made it a responsive design so that if you're on a smartphone, it looks a little different, and you can use it on a tablet, smartphone, that sort of stuff. When you expand it out, it kind of goes to desktop mode or regular browser mode. And there's the home page, which we saw this, where we can set up links that go to specific functionality. You don't have to just pull things off the menu. If I wanted to search for a permit, I could click on this link. This searching feature, again, some people turn this off, but if I wanted to find all the permits around this particular address, I can do that. Here's my permit listing. And so this is a little prettier than the old portal. I can click on my applications and pull up the applications. We do a Google Street View of the addresses to kind of see a thumbnail representation of the properties, but you can change those if you want. Here's my reviews. Here's my comments. I'm not logged in, so I can't see that. We'll go back to that in a second. So the documents, I can see documents that have been submitted, and also inspections. So, and here's my comments. I've got some inspection comments here. So that's a little bit on the search. You can search for licenses. You can search for all sorts of stuff. The reports, these are some of the reports we have on this portal. Here's a map report, and I'll go back in time a little bit. We don't have that many code cases. So here's an example map report. Again, you can use all the Google features. This is code complaints on a map. If you want to go to the Street View and see what's down there, you can. So these also allow you to click on the click on the thing and see information. You can't really drill down on the file though on the portal. And so basically, I'm gonna do a application online, and I'm gonna go to my development world here, and see I've got these are all information. Do I need a permit, submittal requirements and stuff? We can set up. This is our submittal requirements page. The submittal requirements can also show up right next to the permits and the permit subtypes and stuff. But I don't think I have anything in. It's all over in the building deal. So let's go ahead and I'm going to do an application. So I can view my applications too, and I've got a couple in here that I was just messing around with. But I can go and do another one. And so I'm going to pick. These are the development applications that have been enabled for the portal. And so we'll do a land division application. And I put in the subtypes. I didn't know whether these are right or not, but and we'll do just a preliminary subdivision. I can have submittal requirements. I don't know if I put. Oh, I did put your document in here. So I did uploaded this to the portal configuration. I can say this is my new subdivision of 15 lots. And so, and here I can pick the parcel. I can enter the address, like an address or a parcel number. I'm just going to stick with my same address here that we're using. And we're not in Pismo anymore. We're in Buena Vista. So this is going to help me find this. Before we were looking at the map, and we changed that a little bit for the new portal. And so here what we've got is the application on the citizen side. And again, I can go, different form factor, and I can still see the application and fill it out, right? So I've got a couple of questions here, and who's the applicant? So the applicant is me because I'm logged in. So I'm doing the, because you could have a separate applicant here, but, and this is from your application. We've got the different subtypes here, and then we've got the applicant, which is usually the person who's filling out the application, which is me already. And then we've got, let's shrink this a little bit. That's acting weird, but there's a additional contact information in the application here. So I'm on my other screen. Maybe that's the problem here. There we go. So here's the applicant's representative, property owners. We already have that from the property database. And then there was some additional information we were collecting, and then there's some submission requirements down here, the submittal checklist. And this is just an example. It's not written in stone, but I can go in here and pick different people. I can also search, enter a new contact. I can search on people. I also show you in the other example, if you want to do your contractor licensing and business licensing in Citizenserve, we have like a look ahead, look up, where they can just start typing somebody's name and it'll pull up all the matches. So let's say that this is 50,000 square feet.
Hold on. You got a question, Jim?
Sure.
Regarding contractors, can they download from like state agencies of contractors and have valid licenses incorporated into this system?
Yeah, we can do that. We can get that feed from them. We could put that up there. The other thing we do is that we built a link out to it, so if there's a contract and the state database has the ability to resolve the URL and go directly to that contractor's license, we can just embed a link, and we would format the link according to the URL, and then we just link over to data control. So it's a couple different options.
So like what Ray said is that we can use just set up a link custom field in the system, and with the Oregon system, we can append the contractor's license number here, and we can open it up in a new tab, and just like when you click on it, it'll just open that tab up and show you the license. So it's kind of like you just click and you're right there in the Oregon system. So.
Jim, on that?
Yeah, please, yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. So these are, when we set up these custom fields, we set these up as required, and we can also, each one can have its own help in here. So we can, there's just a place you can enter the help area there, so it's kind of cool. These are just custom. I just guessed at this, and we can, I can put a date in here. These are the submittal application stuff, so we can go in here and what was I picking there? Application form. I got a form here. If you're on a iPad, and I put help in here for these two. So if you're on an iPad or you're on you can take a picture right from the camera when you're working with documents too. So I'll just put in my Sinatra letter there. So here's some additional. This is another section down here, and I don't know what I want to put in here, but we could fill this stuff out. I didn't make these required fields, and here's an area down here for site analysis documents, and I set this one up as a multiple document submission. So here I selected 2 documents to upload. So it's not a one at a time thing. I can select file and then just pick 10 things and upload them all. I put in this is just an example of a custom field in Citizenserve, but it's text. So anywhere in the application you can say, I want to make this red. I want to make it bold. You can even make it flashing red if you want. I mean, it's. I had a client do that once. And so you can. So here's a bunch of other submittal documents. Where we're wanting them to upload documents and some more help. So these were, I think I pulled some of these off of your application. Now at this point, you know, kind of after I go through this listing and stuff like that, I can fill this stuff out, and then I can go down here and say, I can save it for later, and it's just going to put this in my cart. So I don't, it's not going to be sent to anybody yet. It's just saved, you know, so I can come back later if I have to go collect additional information. I'm going to click submit here.
So I just want to say one thing, Jeff. So one thing that's kind of nice, so you sort of like the little help functions and things that you can put in. I mean, whenever you do a project, you don't have perfect information up front, right? So obviously, or you don't know how the customers are going to react to certain things. So, you know, if you're going down the road, you realize people aren't getting that, right? We can put in a help thing there. We can put something in differently. At least, you know, that's as easy as you put a pull request in, say, hey, we want to be able to say this here because people aren't getting it. You do it, roll it out. I mean, you have it that after.
A help function can link to a document that's like a checklist. And here's an example of what we're looking for.
Exactly. Awesome. Yeah. And that iterative kind of thing is really very helpful because you can adjust instead of, you know, trying to get 100% right up front or, you know,
I have to get 100% right up front. Here's an example. What's supposed to look like.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We can adjust with it.
Thank you.
So, so this is the template email that gets sent out when they do a development application, right? So I got this email saying, hey, we got your application, right? So that's, and so I can go over and view my requests here, and I want to look at my development projects. So, and I think this is the one I just did here. And so I can see here the review process. I just set up a release. I showed you the Spanish fork complicated review process so that I didn't have to make one here. So we just did we're going to do an intake kind of activity, and then we can do a, I saw a checklist on your documents, basically. It's one of the checklists down here. I put these checklists in there too. But I saw the not that one. These particular checklists. So I put these checklists in there. Not that that's how we would set it up, but it's an option. So here I can see my documents that I uploaded. These are the things I uploaded. And again, you can click on these and pull them up. So we did this, and so let's go check out in our planning department what happened over here. So I'm going to go back to the staff side, and oh crap, it's not. I'm going to forget who I am by the end of the day. So. So here's, I've logged in now under somebody who is doing the, in the planning department. And so, and they get the land division application. So here's my online development application I got. Here's the application that was just submitted on the portal. And here's what it looks like on the staff side. We've got something that's notable is, you know, we've got our submittal documents. I can go in here if I wanted to and mark these up. This is a PDF. It could be a plan document, but I can mark things up. I can get a square going here, and I can also apply my text comments to and we'll look at this a little bit later, but I wanted to show it to you. So I can see kind of each text, we can have different reviewers and we can have different markups, and you can have text comments associated with your markups and stuff like that. And if I do change something or mark something up,
like if someone submitted a driver's license and it was expired, you can circle and go, it's expired, you know, upload another one, and they would see right on the, you know.
Yeah. So in here, and it turns red if there's some markup. So that's, you know, it's something you can do from the Documents tab, or you can do it right here in the application when you're looking at it. So, so here's what we were looking at on the portal, and And so what I want to do, I want to show you the review process. So we have this review that got kicked off. All the activities are assigned to the user I'm logged in as. And if I go over, this one got the LDA application intake was kicked off right away. And that's right here, this one here. So if I click on this, this is just a simple review activity. I don't have a form for this, but I have review comments. And so these are some of the review comments. We support doing HTML in the review comments, and this could include links to other documents. So we'll find one of those here eventually. But so I set up some of these in here so you could go through your comments like, okay, well, I'm going to go, look at the grading plan. Okay, so this and that on the grading plan. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to look at the tree information, okay, all these here. And I'm going to go look at, if you're doing I want to see the utility plan. Okay, well, this is here, that's the problem, they got to submit that. So they can pretty much have, kind of standard checklists, and they all get pulled into your review here. And you can add additional comments, and then I could put new line items and stuff in here too if I want to. And I'll click save. So this saves this with my review, and I can say, let's say we did this and it's done. So I'll say it's been completed, and we can track time too if you want to do that. But so here's my review, and here's the only other thing I had in here was this next thing, which is also probably going to be on my list because I finished the first one. So now the second one's here. This one here, this preliminary subdivision approval. This one here has, if you match if the review comments group matches the activity type, the book will automatically pull up those comments. So if I click on this and I go over here and say I did this and I approved it, I'll jump in and so now we're only looking at the preliminary subdivision approval checklist, right? So I can put some of these in there if I want. And I actually wanted to show you some other stuff, which I'm trying to think of which one it was that I had. That's this one here. I put in a link down here, and this one's got some bold in it. So let's add these two here, and we'll save that. And so that puts together my my comments here for me, and I'll go ahead and save this. And so this is basically saying that, do you want to close out the route because everything's been done? I'll just say no. But so I've done some review comments on this, and if I want, I can log off, and I'll jump over here to my portal, and I'm going to log into my account, and view my request, and I can go to my development project. So it's this one here that we were working on. So I can go to my reviews here, and I have these activities that have been completed, and I can see the review comments. So that's sort of the, and here you can see this. If we were doing a letter or an email, it's kind of important to be able to control the formatting of the headers and stuff like that. This one had a section reference in it, so I thought, well, let's go find that on the web, and somebody can pull up the document that explains what that is. And it's set up to open in a new tab. So if I click on this, it opens up here in a new tab. And here you've got something I found on the web. So, but it's going out to University of Oregon, it looks like. So that's kind of examples of the review process. Let's jump over to Anyway, I wanted to show you really quick, and this is probably the right time to do it, is let's say that we wanted to add another submittal document to that, like something's missing from the application. This is the on-the-fly configuration part of Citizenserve. And we'll log in as, I'm going to log in as Ryan James here. And I'm going to go to admin. And I'm going to go to my department, which I have rights to do this in. I don't have rights to do it in engineering, right? But I have rights to do it here. And I can go to customs, and I can go into my permit table here that I created to set up the application. And you can see here that I've got, these are all the fields. If I want to edit one of the fields, I can click edit. If I wanted to rearrange the order, I can do that. But let's just add a new field. And we can do HTML in here. So to make the field label bold or red or, all that sort of stuff. But I'll just leave it blank and, or not put anything in here. Here's our new, I'm losing my creativity here. So these are all the field types we support on the applications. And again, this could be an inspection activity. It could be a review activity form that we're using too. So all these are supported. So I'm going to do a document attachment. And we support all sorts of different stuff. So including things like user listings, violation listings, permit lookup. I mean, all sorts of things that are specific to permitting and stuff. And so I'm going to say I'm going to put a document attachment. And I can make this based on a variable, kind of a dynamic form. But and then I can say what I want. Like, do I want a single PDF or do I want multiple PDFs or whatever? So maybe we'll allow multiple. And do I want to display this on the portal? Well, okay, yeah. I could display it read-only. I could say they can only edit it when they do the application. I can display it only on the portal if I don't want to see this on the staff side. So
when it says multiple files, is that restricting it to multiple submissions, or is that something that's restricting that to single-page PDFs?
No, it's more than one or more files, not the pages.
Okay.
This is help for this field, and so it's a document, so it's not searchable. I can make this required if I want or not. I can make it. One of the things we added to, required only on the portal. So on the staff side you can leave it blank, but on the portal you can't. So that's one of the other things we've got. You can mass secure data and stuff too, but we'll go ahead and just save this. So this is going to put this into my, here's my document. Now I can move this wherever I want. We'll leave it at the bottom just so we can see what happened. But if I move it up and down, I can move it up and down. So I'll click Save. So I've basically just made that change. So if I go to Create over here, I want to do a permit project, and we'll just pull up the form down here. And we're doing a subdivision. This is the review route. When I create something that has an automated review route, it's going to show me the review route, and I can pick different people and stuff like that. So
on the review route, Jim, you can't set it up to be automatic, or you can have somebody that
manual. You can go manual too.
Processes we can manually route it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that can also be like the first. I'll show you when we do a building permit. I'll show you. We have a part of the review where you can select the required inspections if you want. So here's my field, right? Automatically shows up. We don't have to take the system down, nothing like that. You can easily change these things. And if I go over to the portal, I should have logged out here, but if I go to the portal, it's gonna say if I would do a new development application, I want to apply land division, subdivision, and 941. And what is Chrome? Oh well, we'll pick that one. So so here's my field down here at the bottom, right? So that's, you know, and that's how easy it is to modify the applications. And it doesn't just modify the staff side of the application, it modifies the portal too, if you select that field is visible on the portal. So we kind of did that one application. I've got some other features in the other application, and so let's do that.
Hey, Joe, I just wanted to say something real quick. I mean, we've been doing the complete support model for years. If you want to report, you want to have things changed. You know, that's one reason why the application is so highly configurable, because we do so much of that for our customers. We don't want to make it difficult because we want something differently. We want to be able to make those changes for them more. You can do those things yourself. But you know, when you look at the configurability of the application, it's really because we're working in there reconfiguring, making changes for our customers all the time. We've been doing it for 14 years. So you want to make it easier on yourself, and that, you know, make it more powerful for our customers.
So we're gonna do another application, which is going to be the a site development type of an application. I just sort of copied the oh, I had it here somewhere, but I just sort of copied this one here. You know, sort of the information, the acreage, the fee calculations, and stuff like that. So. So I've got it set up so, you know, I set it up so you can pick one of these, and then if you pick this one, it asks you the number of acres, right? Because this is inapplicable if you pick this one, right? And then I set these up as kind of look-ahead license lookup type of a thing. So let's take a look at it. We're going to go to services, projects, and then I'll go plan line here. And this is going to be a site development. And then these are I think either guessed at these or they were somewhere in there. So these are different subtypes, new site development. And I'm going to say that this is a new, well, let's attach this to the other one we just did, which, I think that was it. So, okay, so it found me, we're attaching this application to the other one, because, you know, maybe they're related. Now, so this is where we are gonna, I didn't put submittal documents in here, because we already showed you that. But so, these have got some help fields. If I wanted to, I can start typing a name in, and it'll pull up the matching. I've got Smith, so I've got a couple here. I'll say Smith Engineering, and we'll say Smith 2, and then here's the acreage part, and here's where the magic happens, right? So we're gonna, if we pick that, it just asks us that. If we go, hey, it's more than that, it's asking me for additional information. So I can say, okay, I got 5 acres, and so then I can save for later, submit. I'm going to submit, and you know, I'll get my email that says we've got your application. But this one here, I marked those fees. I marked them as kind of plan check fees or application fees. So it's asking me to pay now. So this is how you can kind of take them to a payment page. And we calculated the fees. You know, 5 acres times $500 plus $3,500 is $6,000. So and so, and I got 2 emails here. One of them is to me saying a new application has been put out there. This is sent to a staff member, right? And then I've got the other one, which is, you know, we received your application, right? So that was part of the portal configuration that we were looking at, where you can not only get a task, but so let's log out here, and will log in as somebody in the engineering department.
Hey, Jim?
Sure. You guys want to take a break?
Can you integrate or connect the fee portion to where it won't submit until after the fees paid? Can you do that?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so we can, by application type, we can say, we'll deal with the fees later. I noticed on the land division, it looks like there's a calculation that's done by city council or something like that. So yeah, you can add that later as a manual fee. Or we can even set up custom fields that are part of the calculation on the staff side. So you just fill out those custom fields, to itemize it if you want to. So we can do it either as custom fields or as just fee types that you add manually. So, okay. So I am Stacy in the engineering department, and she has received.
So while you're looking at that, I mean, we can, as Jim's probably going to show this, we can have whatever custom conditions that we want on it. Before it's issued, you may say when they first put the application in, it doesn't, the contractor doesn't have to be a valid contractor. It's don't have to be paid. But by the time you issue it, they need to be a valid contractor. Because the warning, they can be stopped, and so we can have all those rules associated with something, okay, when I do the application, not supposed to be there, but by the time I issue it, it has to be there. Or it's just a warning. And that's either whatever.
Okay. So I logged in as Stacy, who's part of the engineering department here, and she's received a couple notices from the portal. One of them is there was an online development application because she's set up to get that notice. But she's also part of the workflow, so she received this SDA, which I just called it SDA, Site Division Application. So she's part of the workflow that was set up for this app. So if I go look at it, here's my application. With my engineering people, my fees. Here's the fee calculations down here, and here's the review. I think it's just a one-stepper, but this could be as complicated as you want to make it. If I click on this, kind of same as before, we've got a review comment set up. It takes me right to the SDA intake application, and you notice you're not seeing any of the planning department checklist. Right? We're only seeing the engineering department checklist, so we're not mixing all that together. You can if you want, but the engineering department has their own stuff, so I can go in here, click on these, and these will show up on the review, and we can incorporate this into a template email, which I'll show you when we go through a building permit, or template documents that you can send out. So here's my information. I'll click on save, and so there's my comments as part of the review thing, and I can click on save here, and this kind of, you can see all the comments. If I had a whole bunch of different stuff in here, I would see all the comments from everybody. So so that's kind of a little bit of an example. Like we talked a little bit about the fees. If I go to engineering here, lookups, and I can go in here and the workflow routes built in here, I only got one thing in here, but I can add more things. The routes can be case routes, permit routes, license routes. Once I pick one of these, I can pick specific subtypes, right? So this department only has one application, so I can pick from the subtypes too if I want, or just if I pick the application itself, then it'll be that route for all subtypes. This can be automatic or manual. I can make my routes active or inactive. Sometimes we tend to make things inactive, like if somebody Leaves, user leaves, we make them inactive so that all their work history is maintained in the system. This is the scope, which is really everything, all the drop-down list boxes, permit types, fee types, everything's got a scope to it. Is it my department or shared with sub-departments, or, you can put it up in a higher level department and share it with everybody. So, and then there's sort of a, we can set a default status on this, and then for each one of these items in the route, let's go back to the one we were working on. If we add activities here to the route, down here, you can select, which department. So if you had 14 departments, you can select all your 14 departments here. Which activity within the department that needs to be completed, who's going to do it, and you can make it, dynamic users or someone specific. And then this is due upon, so we can set the due days for activities. And this is where you can make it parallel or sequential or combinations of the two. Yeah.
Got a question?
Yeah. So
Sure.
As you're making these assignments, are people getting email alerts that it's coming, or how are they alerted that they have an activity assignment?
Yes. Yes, you can do, we can, all the activities in Citizenserve, it's a user level option. I want an email if somebody assigns an inspection to me. I want an email if a review, any activities that are assigned to me, I want to get an email reminding me or telling me about that. And so you can do that. You can also turn it off.
Here on your to-do list page.
Got it.
Plus, in addition, you can have these.
Okay. So it's open.
Right.
Right.
You don't get any more
You don't have to receive email.
Well, as a reviewer, you'd look at electronic tasks and you'd be
Okay.
Thank you, Jim.
So this is I can do completion of multiple activities.
Hey, Jim,
So if I want, go ahead.
You got another question?
You're the moderator.
So we get a site development plan set in, and we might have to send out to 7 different people, assign it to 7 different people, and maybe someone in operations. And so, can we do that? The other thing is can we track that so that we know when they have completed their reviews? Because we don't want to have, all the 2 people review something and send it out, and then when the second time they send it in, those people review it, and that kind of makes the customer upset when they get more comments the second time around that they felt they should have got the first time around. So those 2 things first.
So we can configure, like, if somebody goes through step A, B, and C, right, and we kick it out, right, we can start at D. I mean, we can do a resubmittal process where, if they get halfway through and then a particular person kicks it out, the resubmittal gets created, starting where they got kicked out. We can, I don't know if that's the question or not.
Well, so basically, you get a site development permit in, and we may want to have someone from our water department look at it, somebody from site development will look at it for grading and erosion control, and somebody from sewer, and somebody from storm, and then the maintenance guys, they like to, I'm not sure they like to look at those things if we ask them to. And so somebody from maintenance, maybe 2 or 3 people from maintenance might want to look at it too. So we'd be sending out like 6 or 7 notices that there's a PDF available for review, and we expect you to review it.
Those are the activities that you would basically just add all those as inspection or review activities.
Yeah, okay. And then we need to be able to track to make sure everyone has responded back before we send those comments back. So that was one thing. And I haven't.
One way you could do that is these tasks can be serial or they can be in parallel, which means before the step that goes send this out to the applicant, everything has to be done before that step.
Right.
So you can do in parallel.
Yeah, well, typically what happens, there's usually somebody does an application review to make sure it's complete before you send it off to all the departments. And you can set it up where somebody looks at it, then we send out, the tasks for everybody to look at it at once, or you can do it sequentially. And then there's this, completion of multiple activities here, which I could say my department doesn't want to look at it until engineering and planning and, the Treasury Department or whatever looked at it. So you can set it up so that you don't get it until the prerequisites for review kind of already have been in place, and so if I set it up here to be like pending, right? It won't show up on my list until everybody else has done their work.
So it's configurable based on what we want for our workflow.
Yeah. I mean, and we do a lot of
set by each of the reviewers
If you want them to, you either have them see them or not.
Okay.
Yeah, we can set up a really complex process, so we can make it as complicated as you want.
It can be as complex or as simple as you like it.
So another thing is we'd have a reviewer, a plans reviewer assigned, and one of the things we want them to do is look at all these different comments and make sure that we don't have conflicting comments, because we don't want to send conflicting messages to the people out there. And so if that person finds these conflicts or finds that there's some wording used that could be worded better, they can go ahead and reword those comments before that gets sent back.
Yes, and this is, you can set it as private here too. So like if I put this as private, this particular activity won't show up on the portal, right? So each activity in the review, you could have 15 different steps, and you could say, well, these 5 steps we want them to be private, only on the staff side. We want the citizens to be able to see that.
That's not private. That's what you're saying, that you reviewed it and cleaned everything up, and that one things that we put it for.
Right. Yeah. We'd want it engineering. It's in process, and then when it's done, it's done. So they need
So that's a little bit on the review side of things. So I wanted to do a building permit. Do we want to do that?
Sure.
Because I can show you more features with that, because that's kind of something that's configured here. So so let's go over to the one other thing I wanted to show you about this is just kind of the way the fees.
I didn't do it. I think I just.
My bad.
Nope.
Okay, you guys are back? All right, you're back. So let's do kind of as part of our same project here. Oh, I wanted to do look at the fees here. The site development, I just set up the simple fee thing in here. So to set up those fees, it was, I just got erosion control fees. We set it up on a custom field. If they select this one, it's, $1,500. If they select that one, it's $3,500. And then, we've got the other custom field, which is if it's this one, and then this is kind of the double custom field calculation. So we've got that one, and then we've got this other one here, which is the number of acres that we wanted to do. So that's just a simple fee calculation. So let's do a building permit, because it's got a little bit more set up and some more features I can show you in our demo world here. And we'll start on the portal again. And so I'm on the portal, and I'm going to log in as me again. And so I'm going to do services here, and I'm going to do permits, and I'm going to do apply online. And I'm just going to say I'm doing a new construction. Let's say we're doing a home in the, the project that we were working on before. And home construction. And here we've got submittal documents that are associated with this permit type. And this is just a template. And we'll say that we're going to say existing project again, and hopefully this will work out. And so it finds my project for me, which is the address that we had. And then I'm going to, this kind of is an example of another sort of dynamic, saying how many structures you're going to build. And if I say 2, it gives me, here, give me the information for number 1, number 2. If I say 1, it just shows me 1. So, and we're on the portal side here. And we're just going to pick some stuff. Let's say this is a residential, and we'll pick the type, and we'll go 3,500 square feet. And we'll say, like, it's my estimate's 5. This is the application. Could be, the fields can be anything. I've got a contact section here. Again, this is just a custom field with some HTML showing the little guy. We can do all sorts of cool formatting stuff. I've got a link here. This goes to the state contractor system, which looks like it's California. And so here I'll pick my contractor, Acme, and my engineering guy again from my listing. I've got some submittal documents here, and let's see if we've got I've got a site plan. And these are set up individually, some cost affidavit thing. I don't know if, we'll just pick the soil report. So, certified plot plan.
And can we rename the files that they submit on the back end? Something that says erosion control, and we say, no, that's not your erosion control, it's your grading plan. Can we rename them on the back end?
Well, you can put a description in. A lot of times the files that people upload are a little cryptic, and so you can I'm sure we can rename them, but usually what people will handle that with a description, or they actually pick. I'll show you that you can have different document types for each. So I gotta have a landscape plan in here somewhere. There we go. So
change that for you. It'll be like a support request. Mm-hmm. But the that's why we have the description there. Then they say maybe some cryptic thing or the name is wrong.
Right.
But your description you always have control over. This is the site plan.
And is it pulling up? Later in the program, when you're doing your review, you want to do like a side-by-side comparison. Are you pulling it up by file name, or are you pulling it up by that descriptor name? Okay.
So I'm going to just click submit, and these are more examples of just HTML. We can do different types of almost like electronic signing if you want with applications too. But I'll just click submit. So that's going to submit my application. Here it's kind of taking me to a payment page for my fees, and I can. Some of our customers use EFT too, as opposed to just credit cards. So, but let's go in and check out what's happening over here in the building department. So I did my submission of my application, and I'll log in as somebody who's in the building department.
That's what I wanted to log in again. So when you attach a file to the system, that file is always going to be on that. So like if you go back 10 years later, that customer goes back 10 years later, that document's not archived out someplace, but they've got a request for receipt put back out there or anything like that. We don't charge additionally for any of the data that you use. So really, all the data, all the files that are put out there, they're there. The file, they're accessible whenever you want to use them. So.
So basically, I've got I see here that I've got a notification for the online permit application, and I can see here this this application is the one we just did, and these are the fields that we filled out. We can go in and mark up information if we wanted to jump in and do a markup here. We also do some measurements.
What do you use for software on this viewer?
This is we're using the HTML5 canvas. So this is a browser JavaScript based approach that's device and browser independent, and you don't have to download any software to use it. So let's do a blue circle somewhere.
Can you show us the measuring?
Sure, let's do that. So we're gonna, if we wanted to, whether it's a picture or a PDF, we can do calibration off of the legend or whatever you might have, and then we can use the measuring tool here. Say if we wanted to measure something. We can do measurements, and then we can put the comments with the measurement. So this is something that you can kind of jump around and have different reviewers. We support highlighting. This is something that we added as new. You can do text and the pencil markup and that sort of stuff. But it's something we're adding. We continue to add stuff to. So once you do your markup, you can email this to someone or print it or save it. I'm just going to save this one here. So
yeah, 15 people doing this, reviewing this document. You can see all of the comments that have been reviewed before you.
So this is oh, go ahead.
It's a layer.
This down here is this sort of the staff side calculation stuff. I showed you a little bit of this on Spanish Fork, but I can change this. Hey, I'll do estimated construction costs instead of the valuation that the contractor gave us. And you can just click on the calculator here, and that's just part of the fee table. This custom field is in the fee table that just helps us calculate things. So, and I can set up other things like impact fees, or do we want to get the plan review fee up front? Those types of things. So, so basically, this particular particular permit type has a review, and this is mixed in with the other application we did. So here's my building permit review. So I can see that there's Morgan Katz here looks at it, and then we've got some application review that goes through different departments, and then there's a required inspections activity assigned to Liam Jameson. And then when the review is complete, we send out the review information. So, that's kind of what we do. So let's log in as Morgan Katz. I wanted to show you that. So she's going to have this in her list of things. So here's Morgan, and we've got our application intake down here. I think that this is the one we're looking at. And we'll click on that application intake. So this has review comments that are going to be application intake review comments. This one we have a template with it. So if you think about the other applications we've done in the reviews, this is has a template. So I can have different different options up here for the checklist, but this one's going to pull up the one that matches the activity name, and I can click on the different things I want to include in my comments. And this is somebody who's just reviewing the application to make sure it's complete. And I'll save.
Are these comments available when you're commenting on the actual plan?
This is this is somebody actually it's like an application checklist. I just want to make sure that the application is complete before we send it to other people.
But you do have comment checklists for plans.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And so I'm going to say I completed this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to send an email. So you can see we've got a bunch of options up here. I can attach things to my review. I can generate like a letter document, and I can also send out an email. So I'm going to send out an email, and the email I'm going to send out is the which one am I sending out here? We're sending out. Oh, this maybe that's the permit application. Maybe that's the one I want to send out there. So we're going to send out this application to our applicant. And we're going to, when we send emails out, we show you everybody that's involved in the review and all the external parties. So we'll go ahead and save that. Let me see what this looks like here. And this is a template email. And so what we've done here is we've kind of pulled in the review comments that she made in her application review. So this is the email that we're sending out. We can edit this document if we want to edit it before we send it out. I'll just go ahead and click on send here. So this is going to show up in the documents tab, this email we just sent out. So here's the email in the documents tab, and here's the email that was sent out. That was the actual email. And so that's what we've kind of got in the documents tab. We've got the information we've uploaded so far and the emails that have been sent out. And here's our review. So we're back here at the application intake. If I click on save here, we can kind of see the review comments that are kind of unfolding here in the system. So let's go in complete some of these so that we don't have to do more reviews. So here's another one. So fire. This one's got some comments I think in it, so I can go ahead and maybe I say that resubmittal is required, and I put in some fire comments like everything or something like that. So here's some, and these are from the fire department. Comments, and
that's what we do. There, take something out, and then do the letter. That edited comments is what we see.
Here's to be comment. We have comments you can go in.
So let's go back to our reviews tab here, and so fire did that. So planning, we can put some planning comments in here too if we want. We had. I can't remember which one was this. This is kind of a good example too, because we're kind of putting in some. We've got one of them's got a link in it, and we've got some blank spots. So you can fill in the information in your comment. So basically, I can save this, and we'll say that we completed this. Maybe this one's a resubmittal too. And we'll click on save. And so you can kind of see that we're kind of going through and putting the comments in. And we've got another application review here in building. We'll just say we completed this. And we'll say it's approved with no comments. And we'll kind of go down here to, so this is the one that I wanted to show you, this required inspections here. This is going to end up being, let's log in as Liam over here. And so this will show up on Liam's list now that it's kind of down at the bottom. I think I'll probably have a review in here.
So we can go up to Liam until the other ones were completed. Then it gets assigned. Now it's assigned to him. The workflow.
So here's, I've got, as we've been going through this process, I ended up getting this, I have to do this required inspections review here. I'll click on that. And this is we can do this with a checklist, but we can also do it with the comment book, right? And so I can jump in here and say, hey, I'm going to select all these, and these are the ones. Maybe I don't want the demolition inspection, so I can save that and save this with my review, and I'll say that I completed this, and I'll just say complete, and I'll save this. So basically, we've kind of been going through this review process. Different people have been adding comments, and here's my required inspections list, and this goes back to Morgan Katz. I might have to change this one to approved. Okay, so and we'll go back over here to Morgan, and Morgan's going to print out the plan review report. So we kind of, everybody's reviewed it, and now it's kind of gone back to the department that the application originated in, and we're going to send out all the comments. So I can remember my password here. Okay, so this review complete comes in here to Morgan, and she knows that, hey, I got to go, take a look at this, and she can click on the ... here by the permit and take a look at the permit, and then also in the review, you can click on the review, and this one has, she can add comments if she wants to, but typically what she's going to do is send out, as part of her job is that, she's going to say resubmittal required, and in this example, we're going to send out an email with the permit application plan review report. And again, we can send this to everybody involved in the project, or just the contractor or the original applicant. When we don't have emails for somebody, if you put it in here and then you save it and send it, then it'll get stored with them permanently, so that if you put it in, you don't have to put it in again. So, and then we can preview this. If I wanted to add an attachment, like the marked up document that we did, I can't remember the one we marked up, it was probably the site plan. And I can add documents from my desktop, where I can add them from the file. And here I've got my site plan document. You can go up here and pick the source document that you want to send out if you want. And I'm going to click on attach. Now, this is where it sort of asks you, hey, do you want to include all your markups, or just you? I'm going to include my markups, or I can include everybody's markups, or no markups at all. So I can send this out with my plan review report. And I'll click on preview here. And this is a kind of a summary of all the comments that have been put together into an email that we're sending out. So we've got our reviewers here, and the different departments, and we're basically directing them to go to the portal to review things. So that's our kind of an example process. In this one, we've got some templates that we're sending out in the process. So once
the markup tool, and so they know that we've done that. If you send that to a contractor, if you want to show everyone's comments, then it goes back to a contractor. He doesn't have to have Bluebeam in order to read that. You don't have to make a PDF out of it and send that PDF with the comments on it. It's just a browser-based app. You'll be able to do it without, buying or downloading or doing anything from a software perspective.
So once we're kind of done with a permit and it's gone through the review process, you can generate your permit document, and I'm going to do that here. Looking at my permit, and I can jump over here and say I want to do a permit card for this project, and I can click on generate document here, and this will, generate my permit card or whatever document that you want to print out that's the official permit document. We can do, placards. We can do any combination of graphics. We can list the inspections that are required. We can do a whole bunch of stuff with the particular documents in the system. And once we issue the permit, I should have printed that out, but let's go ahead and save that. That gets saved back to the file here. And if we, and I wanted to kind of quickly cover the inspection process, right? So once we issue the permit, we'll probably, with a building permit, we're going to start doing some inspections. And let's schedule the inspection. And I clicked on inspection here, and we can, let's do this online, just so that you can see that. I'm going to go to my Buena Vista.
Again, they go online with a loss or whatever happened, they can just print out another one themselves.
So I'm going to go back to the portal, and I'm going to request an inspection. And I got my request here. I'm looking at my permits. This is the permit we were working on here. I can see my documents here, so I can pull up my permit card that we generated. And I've got my emails and my landscape plans and stuff. And here's the review. So here's my review and all my review comments and stuff like that. So all that's out on the portal. But we wanted to schedule an inspection, so let's do that. So we're going to do request inspection, and we're going to do a footing. And we can do conditions in the system. Like if I'm generating an official document like a permit, I think Ray mentioned this, but I can have, hey, you haven't paid for this and it's got no issue date, the contractor's not licensed. We can also do conditions when inspections are being scheduled. So if I try to schedule a final and I haven't passed all my other stuff, it can tell me that you can't schedule a final until you finish the prerequisites. So I'm going to put in a desired date and desired time here. Let's make it tomorrow. And I can put some notes in here if I want to, but so I've got my inspection request has been received, footing information here. And so I'm going to go back over, and I think that Liam Jameson is going to, oops. I locked myself out. So, gotta love security. Oh, all right. Hang on.
Okay.
Let me see if I can fix this real quick. So Ray, do you want to see if anybody's got any questions while I?
So while he's working on that, how do you handle versioning of contact info? Like say, you're working with a contractor and then their phone number changes.
So the way it kind of works the same way as anything else with property. So let's say at the time that you do that permit and you select that contractor, we're going to take that contractor information and copy it to that file. Right? So it's going to be there as that phone number. Now, the next time you do, let's say your phone number changed, you change the phone number, and you create a new permit. Now that new phone number is going to be associated with that permit. So if you go back to another one at that point in time, you'll see what it was at that point in time.
Okay.
But you can also have, you just go to see his current stuff. So we kind of take copies of it. You got the current copy that's always up to date, okay. Right? And then as you create your things in reference to that, then we pull that information forward.
He might be getting to this, but if I'm a plan examiner, I send a plan review out and I bring it back, does the plan review section have a view where you can overlay and see the difference from what they submitted to what was sent out?
No,
That's the side-by-side comparison is something that we're looking at adding. It's something we've had a couple of people request that. So I'm not sure when we're going to add it. Some of our customers today, they might use Bluebeam or View, or that's kind of one of them if they're wanting to have super rich features in terms of document review, but we are adding a lot. Typically what we do is we come out with a feature and we listen to our customers and add the stuff they want to add, and we don't charge for that. You know, it's just sort of like we're a pay-as-you-go subscription, so you know, we figure the more things we put in the software that make it useful for our customers, they'll renew their subscriptions. So.
We got the 3D we got it, the great thing. We're going to put that aside and put this aside, and then we're going to tell our customers in 6 months, all right, we got this new version that's out here, and if you want these things, then you're going to have to upgrade to that new version. Or you guys stay where you are, but the reality is you can only count that version for another year, and then you have to upgrade.
The other thing I
don't do that.
The other thing I didn't notice, or maybe you didn't call it out, or I wasn't in on it, was the actual approval stamp on a document or a plan or a design. Do you have the functionality to do that, to actually stamp it?
Electronic stamp.
Electronic stamp.
Oh, yeah, I think we were working on that, Jim. I don't know if it's out yet or not. You know what the status on that is, on the stamp?
Electronic stamp on plan review.
Yeah, that's another thing that's sort of on the list for the markup tool.
I think that one should be accurate. So,
okay, so I moved this inspection over to today because I wanted to show you, how you can complete an inspection on an iPad. And so there's the map feature, you can pull that up. We also have a kind of an unassigned activity queue here, which is kind of cool. It sort of allows you to find activities and. Go ahead.
Was this customer view or in-house view?
This is the staff.
Okay.
This is the staff side. We were on the portal and we scheduled the inspection. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to complete the inspection as an inspector, right? So let's jump over to that. And I'm going to do this on an iPad just because so you can see what things look like on the iPad.
The mobile inspection supported by an Android or a Microsoft Windows product?
Yeah, any smartphone or tablet. Most people use tablets. So here's my iPad, and I'm just going to log in. So we're a HTML5 fully functional in the field application. So I'm going to go down here to my inspections, and I can click on the inspection to complete the inspection. So I'm going to click on the footing inspection, and here's my footing inspection. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do a completion date. I'll say I got it done today. I'll change this to passed, and then we can have a form here, like a checklist or a complicated form that needs to get filled out. We can also put just the custom fields we were looking at for the applications. You can do any of those in the activities if you want. This one just has an inspection checklist, similar to the other stuff.
You can have an checklist. You can also, could you have a most common code call so my guys don't have to write the same thing over and over again? Drop down?
Yep. Okay. We can have a custom form that gets filled out. Like we do rental inspections for a lot of customers, and they have like a 3-page form that you fill out for an activity. So I just selected all. I'm going to click on Save down here. That's going to pull everything in. If I wanted to add some additional comments to something, I can use the keyboard if I want, or the microphone.
And I can add comments within my checklist there, right?
Yeah. Okay.
This is an example of using the speech to text. So you can use that feature on the iPads or smartphones. And so I'm going to click on Save here. And so let's say I'm in the field and I put together my inspection report here. I can click on the email and jump in, and I'll just say I want to send out my inspection report, and I'll say that I'm going to send it out to my applicant here. And I can add attachments too if I want. If I wanted to take a picture in the field, I can take it right from the camera. I can preview this and stuff too, but let's just go ahead and send it out. So that's an example. I'm out in the field. I created completed an inspection, and then I just emailed the contractor the inspection report. So
I have 2 questions.
sure.
You're gonna how can you set this up to print on a Bluetooth device? Because we have a requirement in Oregon. We have.
Yeah, we can do. You can print.
Okay. So can you print if you're offline for whatever reason you lose connectivity?
Offline
You don't have
from.
So I have a Bluetooth connection, and I don't have internet. I'm not connected to the internet or AirCard or whatever. Like right now, we run AirCard based on. But I could still perform my inspections, and the application that we utilize will save everything until we get connectivity again and update it. But in the meantime, my inspector can continue to work. Yeah. So in this mobile environment, if I'm not connected, if I lose the internet connectivity, am I still able to proceed forward under the application?
You have to have it connected to the internet.
Okay.
And and that was that's a very purposeful thing on our part, because syncing the database on a device to a database in the back end is very, very problematic. So in addition to that, our ability to add custom fields, right? If you add those custom fields now, all those custom fields have to be updated on everyone's device that's operating. So we really have kind of been this way since we started 14 years ago, and we are always looking at that thing. Is the technology right today for us to really do a good job and offer that kind of offline capability? It's really still not there right now. We're getting closer with some of our ability to do caching in the browser, which can help that. But the other thing I would say with that is that we've got customers that do all kinds of offline or in environments like boiler inspections up throughout the state of Florida. These guys are down in the basement.
Right.
Of course, they don't have a problem with it. You don't push a lot of data, so it's not like you're trying to make a phone call. But really, the amount of data that we're pushing back and forth is very, very small.
Okay. So I'm out in the field and I need to reassign. I've got too many inspections because I'm getting them in my day. And I got the ability mobile-wise to pull up some kind of screen, call one of my fellow coworkers, and reassign inspections mobile.
If you have the permission to reassign inspections, you can do that
mobile. And can I view fees, what's been paid on a permit?
So anything that you could do in the office,
you can do mobile.
in the field. And it's the same, and I think that's good. We haven't bought a bunch of different software and coupled it together and interfaced it together. It's a holistic application from what you use, what your customers use on the internet, what you use out in the field, what you use in the office. It's all one same homogeneous application.
And can I create new inspections in the field? I'm done hijacking your demonstration.
When you take a picture, where does it, will it store it in a location within the document, or do you just have to call it out, see photo 01, see photo 02?
So if it's a violation, you can actually attach that
to your inspection.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you have to attach it to a document and email it.
Did we want to look at code too, or I'm not sure.
Sure.
So code enforcement.
Code enforcement. Okay.
Yeah, the code enforcement is less of a priority.
Okay.
But if you've got the ability to bring over some of the locational metadata on an image that you take in the field, that would be useful.
Before we leave inspection, what does the inspection look like? From the manager's perspective, being able to figure out who should go where, is it automatic or
manual?
Manual.
That's what I do in the morning. I
Yeah.
assign the guys varying different inspections. So, did you hear that question?
I didn't hear it.
You're saying, like, so we've got, 5 people have come in and requested inspections for today. What does that process look like from getting those requests for inspections applying to inspectors?
From a manager's point of
For the
view.
manager.
So the inspection requests come in, online. They'll show up in based on the permit type. So if it's in another department, or you can have all the permit inspections go to one person, or you can have them by permit type go to different people. You can assign them to an unassigned inspection queue, which is this queue down here. And so I can see my inspection. So here's something that's in the unassigned inspection queue, right? And I can take that and assign it to somebody, right? So I can look at a map and a map of the request, and I can go through and do the assignments. We can also do, let me take a look at, when you're looking at the inspections, you can look at the calendar, and the calendar has, you can have different groups of inspectors. You can have building inspectors, electrical inspectors, plumbing inspectors, and then you can see those on a calendar and schedule those. So that's kind of a different. So you can kind of go through an unassigned inspection queue where things that come in are unassigned initially, or you can assign them if you want based on permit type to specific inspectors. That's kind of how it works. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a little bit. So do you have lists? Do you have like columns with where you have rows? Do you have different views other than calendar and GIS view? Do you have a list view of unassigned inspections?
We can do that. I think this one here is going to allow me to do a list view right here. List view. I'm not sure what's going to come up, but that's kind of a list view of the inspections. Yeah. So I can just kind of go through this list, and I can assign them. And these are kind of.
And you can configure those columns and rows what you want to see.
Yes. Yeah. So you can. So some of our customers, everybody's got a different scheduling process, and sometimes we do it. Sometimes it's a combination of features in the system, but it also might be like a report that they look at, and they use the report format to do the assignments, or see who's available, or what the workload's like for that day. So it's kind of it's one of those things that a lot of times with Citizenserve you can do things 6 different ways.
Gotcha.
And so, that's part of the implementation process is, okay, well, how do you want to do it? And then we'll set it up like that. One of the things about, our support is that if you change your mind in 6 months and you're like, oh, I want to try something different, we'll help you reconfigure it too. So, again, we're kind of want you to be happy using the system. So, if whatever we set up initially isn't working and you want to reconfigure it, we can help you with that. So.
And when Jim says reports, I think we think of a piece of paper, that's non-interactive. My report, I got to go through a report and do this. Really, what a report is to us, it's really just a kind of a custom screen. It's all done in HTML,
right? And
it can be drill down. It can be, you just pull up and it's another screen for you. And you can go to different places from that, just like you would if you said, I want a new custom screen.
Gotcha.
So you can print it out like this, if you want to, but I think just that people still have that kind of, when we say reports, it doesn't.
Could be just a different view.
It's a different view.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I was wondering, I had another question about plans. Is there any size limit? We don't always get this type of project, but one of the projects we have, just the site development plans alone are 600 pages. and they're the 24 by 36 inch sheets. So the PDF is humongous. And I didn't know if you guys had a limitation on the amount of size you can.
Yeah, there's no real technical limitation on it to me, but it's kind of practical limitation that you probably want to set because if something's like 500 gig, you probably want them to try to upload that. It's going to take them, forever, or anybody to take forever, to do that.
We can, so we can, the technical limit, kind of what we're database, what we use now is like, it's like 2 gigabytes, but you really can't. We have people that upload videos and like code enforcement, or they, pictures or lots of pictures, and stuff like that. But we can also set up custom fields that link to, say, Dropbox or something like that. So if you're working on something and it's enormous, you can just have a kind of a hot link to the Dropbox and use that. So
what have you seen from an implementation standpoint as best practice for dealing with file submittals? Your plan sets. Are people submitting single-page PDFs? Are they submitting small batch PDFs? Where you've got the 10 erosion control sheets, or the 3 landscaping plans in one file?
That's a best practice, something like that. It really differs based on our different customers, how they're organized and how their review processes go, because we want them to be in smaller pieces that those documents are going to go to different groups. If they're going to the same group that's going to do it, then you want to do different pieces. So we don't really dictate that, and I wouldn't say there's like a best practice on that, because the best practice is usually follow the organizational structure.
And your review tool can handle multi-page PDFs?
Yes.
I just want to follow on to what Tim said. So customers that have decided that they need a better or more robust markup, you said they've used Bluebeam and incorporated it in with your application?
Right. Okay. And that might be what you guys do. I mean, we're not trying to be Bluebeam,
right?
Or product like that.
Yep.
But it's also a very expensive product, and a lot of people everyone who wants to use it have to have that product. And so we kind of look at this approach and said this is going to, this will be good for a lot of our customers, but it's not the right thing for everybody.
So that's something that you guys can merge with. If we want to buy Bluebeam or some other product.
You either agree with the markets that are on the document from your system. We can save those. You can save those Bluebeam documents, but you have to have Bluebeam in order to pull them and see all the comments. In that context, with the document repository, we save it, up. This will pull that up in Bluebeam. They'll be able to you can access that document from, the browser. Yeah. You can show a report there. That's kind of the. Jim?
Yeah, I'm here. I was just seeing if I could find something that looked interesting for scheduling inspections. But so, is there any other areas we want to cover? Or?
Here's another question about photos. You bring all the metadata across the CP application and all that, and
so that's actually in the picture,
right.
And we haven't actually done anything with it, but you can. We could technically we could put all the pictures on a map because they have metadata in them.
Right.
The GIS coordinates where the picture was taken.
Okay. If they're taken from the device. Right.
So one other thing, I know we have on our science reports and certain things, but we also have how do we close out the project, right? And how do we get it into our research? So when it comes down to the point where has everybody done their final inspection, have all the final inspections cleared, can we then issue occupancy on structures?
So in our example, we didn't close out our home. And so typically what we would do is after we did the inspections, we did the final inspection, we would close it out. So we would have an issue date in here and a close date, and we would save that. We could go to the permit and at that point generate a certificate of occupancy. And these can all have conditions that need to be met before, like, it had to have a final inspection or whatever that passed. And then you can generate a certificate of occupancy that kind of closes out the project. So one of the things I didn't mention yet, basically, is that we can put dynamic signatures on the documents. We can collect signatures in the field, and we can also do processing with all the forms, emails, and letters. So if I wanted to make a change to the file or send somebody an email when I generate this certificate, I can do that. And if I go over to, I don't know if I have one in here, but if I go to, I'm in the building department here. I'm going to go to building, and we'll look at our letters, just to kind of give you an idea of like forms and letters in the system. So here's our certificate of occupancy, and this is the one we were just looking at, right? So these are all created in the same HTML editor that we use for the portal HTML and stuff. If I wanted to put, say, maybe right below this text, if I wanted to say put the legal description in there, right below that, I could do that. I just go up here and go, hey, I want to put property information, I'll put in the legal description, and click paste. That's how we create these templates and letters and stuff. So that's how easy it is to put data from the file into the documents. And then we can also do, this is just a standard permit document, but we can also do what we call like a query permit. And if we do that, we can specify a SQL script that runs when we print this out, right? And sometimes we do that when somebody, say you're issuing a citation to somebody and you need to calculate the fees to date for that citation, like in a code enforcement case. So say somebody passes their electrical inspection, and if it passes, the logic is email the electric company to come by and hook up the electric, right? Send a work order to the electric company that says hook it up. We can do that. So those are some of the things that we can do with the query letters. We can send emails to do electrical hookup. We can calculate fees. We can, we can do a lot of different stuff with that capability. So. Are there any other areas we want to cover?
So right now we use the state system for archiving, and we have
a document management trim that's posted by the state. It's called HP RIM. You guys interface with other document management systems, maybe like Laserfish. Yeah, we've done that, but I mean, it's all sort of different. What is it that you want to archive? Final documents, the final documents. So we would just create an integration point that would pull just the documents over and interface that. That would be a custom interface, but we'd have the right to do that. We've done it, yeah. Okay. Would you add anything to that, Jim?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think you were just asking about reports. The report wizard's actually it's pretty robust. And we can do charts and stuff like that in the system. I logged in as somebody who's got some reports, and we can do map reports. We can do, I think I've got a permits issued on a map here somewhere.
What type of reports were you?
And so the wizard actually is pretty cool. Let me see if I can. I'm going to do permits issued on a map. And let's say there's Jim's report here since I'm in. And you can set up different folders, right? So each user can have their own folders, and then you can share reports that you do or that our support team does for you with other people. And Ray probably mentioned, I mean, you can request an unlimited number of custom reports. And so these are the choices. I'm in the report wizard, so I can do a chart, a list, a map. We also do merge. We do a lot of communication types of reports that are kind of like your permits expiring, or you need to renew your contractor license, things like that. So we can do merge templates where we merge, do like a public notice type of a thing. You might want to merge a list that you get off of like a proximity report, and merge that with a template for a public notice or something. But I'll do a map, and this is just to kind of show you how this works. Now I can add, when I click on add this to my home page, it puts it in the links area on the home page. Now this is an end user reporting tool. It's not like, crystal reports where you've got to, kind of understand the database. We basically created a reporting tool where you can let's say I want permits. I'm going to say I want my permits here, and I can go in and pick the different fields I want. So I've got an opportunity here to select I want, file information or permit information. I can also go with custom fields that are part of the application. Say square footage is something I wanted to include, and it was a custom field on a permit. I could do that. I'm just going to select permit here. So I can do like say permit number, permit type, permit subtype, work description, and I'll do issue date. Maybe I'll do include the total balance due or something like that. So like, these are things I want to put on my report. Now this is the tabular information on the map. So I can select some filters here, and I'm going to use my issue date as a condition. So this is Somerville, Massachusetts. They're kind of about 80, 90,000 population. So I don't want to, I'll just do August. So greater than, they have a lot of permits, so it's kind of a. Now this criteria I can change. I'm going to save my definition of my report, and I can change that later if I want. And then I can group these. So I'm going to group them by permit type. And so I basically defined my report here, and I can run it. So here's all my different permit types that come up, and I can see all my permits here on the map, and I can click on the permit. The cool thing is about reporting, whether it's a tabular report or even a map report, is I can click on this file number, and it'll take me to that permit. It's actually opened the permit up over here, so I can look at it, and then I can go back to my my map report and look at something else if I want to. So I can kind of toggle back and forth. But this is a map report that I created. This could be anything. It could be, violations on a map or expired permits on a map. I mean, and that's how easy it is to create a report. I mean, I just created this. And so at this point, and I
a rat base.
Oh wow!
In the city, and then they can get all that on the report. So,
and this is a report that we could put out on the public portal if we wanted to, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and they have that. They actually have this on their one of their reports on their portal. Let me do another browser here. If I go to Somerville, this is their inspectional services department. They have about 120 Citizenserve users, and they do you know, permits, licensing, and that's really the only report they have on their portal. Is if I wanted to see what they've been doing, I can put in some dates here. Like I can just pick today if I want. So this is off their portal, right? And so I can click on these, and I can't drill down on the portal, but I can see the issued permits. And if I wanted to, you know, get a satellite view, I can too. So in the citizens, if you know, they can go street view if they want to, if they're you want to see that. Oh, there's my permit pin right there. So yeah, so all the reports, and so you can put these out on the website. And let me get out of that. And so this is the one we just generated. And so I wanted to, let's go back. I saved this in my reports, right? So Jim, this is the report we just did. Permits issued on a map, Jim. So I can go back in here, and it knows that my selection criteria, and I can change it. So if I wanted to change it to everything in July too, and I can go change my definition. So like, you know, I want to put in a custom field that's on the permit application. And they have kind of complicated permits. So here's a whole bunch of custom fields. Maybe I want to put in I got to pick something that's going to end up on most of the reports. Maybe use, that might be a good one. So I could add that if I wanted to. So I can pick from my custom fields also. And then if I want to rerun this, I can rerun it. It's only showing the ones that have a use field on it, so it's kind of, I messed things up the way I did that, but let me find another better custom field here. Let's do a file custom field. That might be. So this is file information that includes a bunch of property information in it. So I'll pick one of these as.
You got a question, Jim?
Oh, go ahead.
One of the fields that I just saw pop up looked like census data. Are you pulling census data into their system too?
Well, you know what? This information that we're looking at is part of their property information. So if I go over to one of their files.
Does GIS have that information in it, or your county or something, or has that?
I just want to open one of their files here. And so this is, if I click on the file information and I look at property data, we're pulling, in addition to having, you know, the standard property information, which is, you know, parcel number and stuff like that, they pull in, these are custom fields, custom property fields that they pull in from, you know, their property, wherever you can get it, you can bring it into Citizenserve. But they've got structural information, you know, sale information, you know, so that's all available in the system for them. So we can, that's just, you know, they're just custom fields associated with the property. So.
Can you do GIS integration for mapping and address validation?
Yes. In fact, a lot of our customers do that, where we go to the GIS server to get the address and property data, as opposed to using the lookup. So we kind of have two approaches. One of them is we maintain a lookup file with all the property data in it. And the other approach is we just go to use web services to go to the GIS server to pull that out. So like if I go to Philadelphia Jones, this is the city of Philadelphia, and they use this for air management. Their air management department, like asbestos abatement permits and stuff like that. And if I go into mapping, there we go. So, so this is real time. If I wanted to pull out, look at their city neighborhoods. This is you know, real time coming from their GIS server. So that's kind of a, you know, if they make a change on their GIS server, it automatically shows up here. So
if you're pulling that through SCE or ARC server, web services would like ARC server.
Thank
you. So there's like there's two approaches where we can take your personal information and your GIS layers and load those in and back, and you can do what you want to, right? And then when you create a new file, we'll take that, you know, information and we'll put it on that file. Or we can, instead of doing that process, every time you want that address, we'll go out to the GIS system, get the personal information, and then you the layers that you want real time and bring it back.
So, with you guys hosting this, how do we get access to our data on a regular basis?
You can have your data as frequently as you want to have it. What we can do is, let's say you want to have it monthly or weekly, we just create a job that's an extract, and you have a Microsoft SQL database. We put it on that site and filter it SQL back, and you can see the backup. And all the documents are in the database. Everything.
so did you have questions about our hosting, or?
Yeah, what do you use? Amazon or Microsoft?
We hosted a company called IO, and we're in 2 data centers. One's in Phoenix, and the other one's in Edison, New Jersey. And they're both 100% uptime SLA, and they're both SSAE 16 compliant and audited by PricewaterhouseCoopers, I think. So. They're pretty cool facilities. So, and then you know we have a geographical diversity with the New Jersey data center in case a plane crashes into the one in Phoenix.
So the way that we work, I mean, our process has been very iterative. It's also very we work very closely with you guys. So how long it takes, a lot of that really depends on you, right? Because we're going to ask you to gather information. You know, if it takes you 9 months to gather the information that we need, then, you know, we have some customers get it done in 2 weeks, and we have some customers take 9 months. Same amount of information. But once that information is gathered, then what we'll do is we'll set up a kickoff meeting, we'll get everything, you know, we'll talk about, you know, here's what we do in our process and how it all works together, and then we'll start doing the weekly walkthroughs. Now, part of that process is how do you want to do it? If you've got 5 different departments, you're doing building permits and planning and zoning and code enforcement, do you want to do all those at the same time? Or do you want to do permits first and then licensing? So part of it really depends on how you want that order to go. You know, if you want to have multiple people doing it, multiple departments at the same time, it's going to take longer to get one. And if you just say, all right, I want permits up first, that's our biggest priority, or a contractor licensing up first. We can do whatever you want that. But once we start doing the implementation, we'll do what we call a weekly walkthrough. We'll take the information that you've gathered, and our people will start doing the configuration of the system. And then we'll meet with you weekly, and you'll have a chance to look at it and you'll say, here's what I did this week, here's the reports, here's how I did the workflows on these things. you'll look at that and you go, that works, you know what, let's make that a drop down instead of this. Instead of that report, you know, here, I know we said we wanted it, we don't want that report anymore, we want this report. Can you do that?
Adjustment.
What's that?
Adjustment.
Adjustment. And that's what, you do not start with a defined scope. We don't hold you to say, all right, we're going to do 50 reports for you, and if you want 55 reports, then it's going to cost you more. Or we're only going to do 12 permits for you, and if you got a 13th permit, well, then that's going to be a change rule. So we are really, in our mind, because we do continuous service, we're never really done. Because your business process is going to change, and at some point we look at the implementation as going, you guys feel we're comfortable enough that this is when we want to go live, we're not done, we don't walk away. And then that iterative approach we have found is it works best with our customers because it gives them a chance every week to see it, feel it, and not just like we do some big waterfall process and at the end we pull the sheet off this thing and go, ta-da! And you're like, what the hell is that?
Like a soft go live date.
Yeah, we can do a soft go live date where, you know, maybe we go live internally with just, you know, a few applications, how you want to do it, that's fine with us. You know, then we bring the portal up later. You know, it's really kind of however you feel is best. And what you feel is best can and quite often does change throughout the process. As you see more things and you learn more stuff and you get a chance to play with it. And so that's the other piece that makes a big difference in how long it takes us to do this. Are you showing up, are you guys showing up for the review meeting, for the weekly walkthrough meeting? And just during the week, you have people that are actually getting on and looking at it and playing with it and going, yeah, I saw that in the meeting and it looked good, but now they're working with it this week and it doesn't work that good. I want it done this way. You know, so it is very participative in how we work with you, and that, you know, it's hard to really say, well, you know, when you want it to go, but I can guarantee you our motivation is to get this thing done very quickly. And to work with you guys, we also want it done in a way that you are really, really happy. That's why we, you know, we do not do long-term contracts. You know, we look at it as every single year we got to renew it. You get happy. We're not going to lock you in. You're not paying some big amount up front that, you know, well, now I got to, you know, earn. I got to get that, you know, over the course of my contract. You know, because I paid so much up front, I got to stay with it. You know, that's why we offer the service, and that's why we, you know, anything that you need to have done with the application and reports, changes the fees. You know, we've had some customers that, you know, we get 3/4 through their permitting process and then it changes something big and we got to start over again. And the answer is, okay. That's how it is. You know, we don't push back and, well, your implementation fees is paid because it's not what we started. We're almost done, almost ready to go live. You know, get the before go live, if it happens and you need to change it, the answer will be okay. Let's go. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, most of what people who kind of have enough vision to see where they want to take the ship, and then people who make the those are the big people. But you also need people in there that you just have those people in there. Sometimes it doesn't turn out so good for the people who are actually, you know, we need the frontline workers there. Yeah. So, and then, you know, you don't want to have those meetings that are so big that nothing, you know, you have too many people in them, and it really changes. You know, it depends on each customer, each department's dynamic with the leadership, you know, within those groups. So we have some that have a lot of people in them, and we have some where it's just, you know, the supervisor in that area. We don't dictate that. I mean, I try to tell people and give them advice on who should be in those, but in the end, it's kind of, you guys. We have in Oregon. The role we have in Oregon. Yeah.
Oh, I'm here.
And I'd like to say a customer list. What do we have in Oregon?
Customers in Oregon, you know, we had we worked with somebody up there for a long time, and then they went with some. There was a state system that came along that I think Acela was doing with the state or something like that.
Yeah.
Wait, let me. I know. I mean, up in that area. Well, it's not that close, but Redmond, Washington, just signed up with us. I mean, we're actually doing their licensing, business licensing. Where is? There was a and they were decent size. They're not as big as Beaverton, but Sacramento's a customer. That's not really necessarily Northeast. Lewiston, Idaho, kind of getting closer. I'm trying to find a. There was a customer that was. Go ahead.
Yeah, it did make it harder for you because there are a number of municipalities that have chosen to use that.
It was. I think it was Cottage Grove. Cottage Grove used us for about 3 or 4 years back like 10 years ago, and then they ended up switching to some kind of state thing, and I think that people are kind of moving away from that now. I'm not really sure.
So your Microsoft server capabilities, I've got a couple of criteria that we haven't filled in. So, so we don't need to know about any of that?
I'm kind of running back to the markup capabilities, and have any of your customers gone to ePlan Soft, or most of them using, or all over the map?
Yeah, all over the map. From our side, we don't fixate one or the other. If it has to be moving or has to be, for Belgium, we just do that. We can save those documents with us, but that's it. And all the other functionality is in the product. So, I don't even think a lot of times it's really true. You don't even track that.
Hey, Brad, I waited for you to ask your question. Do you remember your question?
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
How about lunch? Chocolate?
Chocolate.
Mark?
No, actually, the question is broad-based, and that is, what do you do to make us think outside the box and put it together and implement technology? I think the last thing we want to do is just, okay, this is the way we do it, make it work. Right? I don't think that's really what you set up. So I'm asking you as vendors, what do you do in that?
So one of the things that we have that kind of, that I think you saw that in what Jim was doing in the demo today, we went all over the place and showed you all kinds of different customer implementations. So we're a true, software as a service, multi-tenant environment, which means we can take you from apartment to apartment and show you each of those apartments all in one spot. You don't have to go, well, Seattle is on their own implementation, and we got to try to, I can't show you that, so I can't get into their environment. Right? So from our side, when we're doing implementation, you got a question, and the person that works with your implementation, we're like, boom, let me show you what's going on. Look, this is what we did here. And you can say, you're like, no, that's not kind of what we want to do, but I like a little bit of that. And they can show you, okay, here's what we did for, this other client over here. And they're like, I like that. Let's put those two pieces together. And that's just, I think that's one of the most powerful things that we have, is that we can show you and you can get your mind going, and you can do a little bit of a Delphi approach and see, how did 5 customers do this? We can show you different ways that they've done that, and you can go, I like, the way that this customer did it, or I like a little bit how this customer did it, and a little bit of this customer did it. Those are very easy for us to do. We show you a lot of things.
Have any customers asked you, or is there any plan to build any type of community engagement component to this? And what I mean by that is public and citizen opportunities to comment on a particular project, for example.
So, like what kind of project?
So we do planning projects,
right?
Okay.
And often our planning projects are public comment. Okay. So we send notice out, and then we accept comment back. And there are some places that allow for, their own but so bad example. Let's just say that. Okay, but the people are allowed to go on and provide comment, like testimony, or provide comment back on that development proposal, and then store it into the record,
right,
and use it as part of the approval or denial process, the hearing process, to get it out to
Have we done that, Jim, that you're aware of? I mean, I know the structure that we have to usually do that. I don't know if we've ever done that for a customer, though.
What was the question again?
There's like on a planning project, so, you know, that citizens could make comments on the planning project, and those become part of the record. So, you know, we have like a planning file, and the citizens could find that file and make their comments. Those comments are, we keep in archive those comments.
Is this just comments from like a council meeting or?
No, yeah, for me, any citizen in the community.
So,
On a given project.
On a given project.
one of our big things is so people don't have to come in like to the office, right, to view records. So if we can post records that's online that the community can view and the community can comment on online instead of having to come in and pull the paper file out and then write an email or a letter, they can do it all through the portal.
You know, I mean, we could have a report that had all those files that they could comment. They could select one of those, and then what, you know, if they want to be authenticated or anonymous, you share.
For public comment specific on that, they have to be on there. They have to actually, they have to give name and address.
I mean, you know, we have the authenticated access. Once they were authenticated, we could show them a list of all the projects that they could comment on. A lot of it go to that project.
Yeah, we could do that. There's a couple ways we could do that. One of them is using the request tracking feature. We could have something like that. But, you know, the other way to do it is we could do it in reports. You know, I talked a little bit about sometimes your reports can be, you know, less like a report and more like a process, like a, you know, the permit fee calculator or something like that. I mean, they could enter, we could set up a report where they, you know, they could enter comments and have it associated with a certain file number or project number or something like that. Yeah, just sort of, but there's a way we could do it. I mean, you know, just there's probably a couple ways we could do it, but
yeah. I mean, the way that we're set up, I mean, I do not feel like that as being a big challenge. I mean, here's the proper person telling you that, right? It's not going to be a big challenge. But, I mean, just the way that we're structured, and because it's all the same application, like I said, it's not like our online portal is something that has to talk to another app over here, and we got to change how everything works. It's the same application. Just so anyone correct comments on a, you know, on a file, we should be able to, in the same way, let's do that same thing. So,
that's something that I think attractive to the current leadership in the city. The mayor and the council's very collaborative approach to governance, and with a lot of opportunity for citizen input and community participation.
Yeah.
And so the ability to have something like that would be attractive to leadership.
Yeah.
Another thing we didn't, I think, I may have just give Ken the wrong answer. When you were doing the GIF,
hold that question back. I mean, I'd like to go back and talk to our product manager about that a little bit, just over there. Their comments and thoughts on it too.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely something that I think we're seeing in more and more of our customers is that collaborative approach.
We didn't request that, did we? We did, but as we become aware of the fact of potential, it's sort of like, ooh, that's cool. That's something we didn't think of, but that's pretty cool.
so Jim, on your GIS module, I think maybe you touched on it, but I want to make certain, because can you pinpoint a certain parcel and ask for draw a polygon and identify how many feet out around from that pinpoint on a parcel, what addresses are there, so you can do a mail merge and mail out?
Yeah, so that's a proximity. Let me log off here. That's one of our standard reports in the system. Maybe I should use. Well, this might work. I don't know. It's kind of like a merge type of a thing. These are the standard reports here. So we've got a proximity search, and you could say I want everything. It's like an abutter notice. Some people call it. So I can put in I could put my file number in. I could put my permit number in. We could use the number we were using in the example.
So what if you don't
And then I can.
What if you don't have a permit or an address for it? I mean, you know, you're going to have a permit, but that's just a point field. But can you do it on, you know, say it's a street project, and you know, can you custom define a line or a polygon, and then buffer off of that?
I know that, you know, Google Maps supports a lot of different things. You know, we've had people ask, hey, we want to be able to do measurements on the map and stuff like that. You know, I think it's something we can do with the API. Nobody's really.
That was prompted, Jim. They wanted the same kind of thing.
Oh, they did? We probably have it set up there for them. But yeah, right now, really, what people would do is go to the. And I think you can start a project off of the map. So if you had a project and you wanted to pick off the map, you can do that, and it pulls the address up for you here. So I can, you know, I can do things generated on a map. Now I mean, we're kind of tied. I think we're using the address off of the building information. I don't know if we've tried to pin it to a street. That might not work out. But it's something we could do. It's all supported by the API. So, you know, it's not something that would be difficult to add. You know, we're adding stuff all the time, and we do it very quickly. You know, people will, you know, go to the support center and they say, I want to have this or I want to have that, and you know, those are features that, you know, we put out a new version of the app once or twice a month, and which seems like a lot, but it's just a lot of changes. You know, we add new features. We kind of focus on small improvements based on customer feedback, as opposed to major releases. You know, we want to have new things coming out every month, as opposed to, oh well, we're gonna 3.0 is our, you know, it will be available at the end of 2017, and I mean, we try stuff, and then we, you know, if the customers like it and give us more feedback, we make it better. Sometimes we try stuff and people don't like it, and we take it away. But we're really responsive. We can do that because we're an internet-based software, right? As opposed to I mean, we can roll something out and then go, oops, that didn't work, and get rid of it really quick. So.
And it's different implementations on different operating systems, on different databases, on everyone's own network. You can't do it like that. You can't do those small incremental changes.
So we didn't cover, spoke about, but I didn't get a good enough answer from you. Data conversion capability from our current system to a new system. Again, what I have is electronic in my inspection section. Everything was created. It resides in one system. It's all there. I have no paper documentation of it. It is all electronic. And I have to have that from any vendor we go with, move how it is with whatever system we have. And it can't be like archived per se, because it's permanent information, and a lot of it's still active because we got projects that go 7, 8, 10 years. So what's your data migration capability, and what's that like?
We migrate out, I think it's safe to say, every kind of major community development application that's out in the marketplace today. We probably have done kind of migration with it. We have people that's what they do and what their focus is on conversion. And so, you know, conversions are always tricky and they're always a little nasty, right? I mean, when you get into those pieces, they're never.
I've done 3.
Yeah, they're you know, they're not fun. It's like wrestling with a pig. It's not a good thing. But
You absolutely put one into it, you get out of what you put into it.
and there's always trade-offs, you know, in terms of you maybe it's stored this way, we have to be able to parse into multiple different, you know, fields. One of the nice things about I think about the application is our ability to create these custom fields really does add to our ability to convert effectively. You might have something that goes, you know what, this stuff here, we need to convert it, but we're not going to do it that way going forward. That's okay. We can create those custom fields and move it in. So you may not never use those or see those or those fields are never populated again. They're just populated on the stuff you converted. So we can do things like that. Yeah, I mean, Jim, I don't know what you would add to that. You know, in terms of how we do it, because each case is somewhat differently than normally what we do. So we just need a backup of your current system and whatever database format, and you don't have to do anything differently. Just give us that database, and then we'll go through, we'll look at kind of how it's structured, what the table, it doesn't really matter how many records there are, it's how those columns are structured and how that data is related to each other. That makes a big difference.
So I'm curious about sort of the range of size of jurisdictions that you are customers of yours. Can you give us an example of maybe what the smallest is versus the largest?
We scale from where we have 1 or 2 users in a city to where we've got up close to 200.
We're definitely doing it right.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Cottage grove.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's good.
So why Citizenserve? Just put you ahead of your other competitors.
I think one thing that when you look at Citizenserve and our model in terms of being web-based, being software as a service, being a comprehensive service, we've been doing this for 14 years. I think there are some companies that are trying to move towards software as a service. Now, when we started 14 years ago with software as a service, it was a hard model to sell.
Yeah.
I mean, IT organizations just weren't ready for that.
Yep.
And now, we get people knocking on our door, are you guys software as a service? Because so that part has changed. Mm-hmm. Our model has been the same. How we offer service, our product's always been web-based, so we haven't bought anybody else and try to integrate them in and create this Frankenstein thing stuff that's out there. Right? And we have just made this same product in our same business model better and better and better and better every year. I don't think you're going to find anyone else that can really say that. And that can have that kind of experience on a homogeneous application on a single platform. Mm-hmm. And I think when you talk to our customers, what you're going to hear them say is, the service is amazing. Mm-hmm. I mean, 80% of the requests that come into our service line are closed out that day. I mean, that's the big ones too. We have people that are on our service requests that know what the heck they're doing. What's your to do it?
What are your hours?
We go from, I think, it was 7 a.m. Eastern to 6 p.m. Pacific. And actually, even on the weekends and stuff, if, we do, if there's big emergency stuff that's going on, we'll do that. And if you submit an emergency request, I mean, we have cities like, he was showing you Somerville, they have almost gone completely paperless, from being almost completely paper. So if someone comes into the building department today and they want to do a permit, they don't take anything from them. They set them down at a computer and go, here you are, right? Put the stuff in, they help them through that piece. But if something's going on, something's not working for that customer, they put in an emergency support request, we're back. I think our response time is like 5 minutes before averaging, something like that, on email or phone. You put it in online, and then they may call you, but you'll get we have messaging as part of our messages. We put email. You can reply back. Here, can you show just the support center real quick? You're not multi-language right now.
So the support center, you can log your request here. So if I wanted to go back here and do submit a new request, I can put my request in, like I need a new report, and I should put test on this. I don't want somebody freaking out. And I can, put my description in here, but I can also add attachments. So if I wanted to, add an attachment that kind of outline my report and stuff like that. And then we do, a lot of times you're working with somebody like at the counter. So, if there's a problem, we want to be responsive so that, and like Ray said, I mean, if, our support team is, they're just there waiting for support requests to come in.
You're on.
And sometimes, yeah, sometimes you want to go urgent because of, you've got somebody that needs help, and you just click submit, and this keep track of everything for you, so that you can see all your open requests, close requests, all that sort of stuff in the system. So.
Yeah. And the other thing I don't want is that our own support that we do, but the people that are on support are the same people who do implementation. And so they're not like, you just do support.
Right.
And when you don't fucking more support, then we'll put you somewhere else.
Right.
I mean, we rotate the people, so they're current. I mean, today they're doing support, tomorrow they're working on someone's implementation. And so they know what's going on, and so they have the tools to fix things for you right away. And it can do that. So those are a couple of things I think that really good. And I think when you start looking at it from a price perspective, you're going to see that we're really, really not competitive. And so much of that is because, the way that we do development, the way that we host the application, you start looking at what it would cost for you to to buy their data storage and maintain your data storage. For us, we're doing it in such big volume, and we're spreading that over a whole customer base for all of that infrastructure costs. It makes a lot of sense. I don't think we've ever increased the price on an existing customer.
Our inspectors take a lot of photos, and so is there any limit? Because they like to fill up our
There's no limit. There's no limit to how much data we store for you guys. We don't archive it off and go, anything else over a year, you've got to do the whole black backflip to get it back and take a look at it. It's always there. It's always accessible. And then we don't have any storage charges. So you use as much as you want. It's all you can do.
and they can just attach that to that permit or that.
Any other questions? Break for the meeting?
That's added at 8:30 tomorrow. We're still a little more than halfway through now.
Don't feel so good when you're done.
Yeah.
I think you're something in with a brick, right?
No, I'm still excited about this. Seriously.
No, we are
We're
excited.
progress.
Yeah. We're excited that you guys invited us and that we, had a chance to come to the table and talk to you. Thank you very much for that.
Really helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
The information.
All right, great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
You can hang up now, Sam.
All right. All right, you guys have a great week.